with the last 6 teams in the competition who can put their grubby little mitts all over the major trophy. Which one it will be, we'll decide in 3 days' time, of course, with the grand final, but plenty of matches before we get there. Team Secret have moved one step closer. They're in the upper bracket final right now. So the next question is, who will they face? Well, we're going to find that out over the next best-of-3 series as Virtus.pro clash with Ninjas in Pyjamas. We've also had a change here on the panel. We welcome Gods, BSJ, and Grant is back alongside in his non-conforming blue suit. It's very grey, my friend. Did you not get the memo this morning?
I did not. Guess I'm not part of this. I thought you were NA. I thought you'd have my back.
Don't bring me in.
Oh, sorry. Good call on the Slark pick. How did that work out?
You know, it's the thought that counts, but, you know, coming in after the major, the huge patch, 0% win rate.
True.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Ice Frog will know.
He's playing the long con.
Yeah.
He's making sure it gets buffed in the new patch. He's a good Slark player.
Yeah.
He's like, let's just sandbag a bit.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Good. We've kind of got a really good second semi-final as well. The first one was amazing. LGD obviously going secret, but this one's got a little bit of spice in it as well because Ninja in Pyjamas obviously led by PPD. I said in the previous game, I don't know if you heard the outro, but he hasn't won a series as a captain since the Shanghai Major against Virtus.pro.
All right, I do got to say something. That was NA PPD.
It
This
was?
is now EU PPD, who is 0-0
Wow,
against VP.
Hold on, have you disowned him?
No, I have not disowned him. I'm helped building up his repertoire here, and he's definitely had a rough time versus them. But you know, now you've got Mind Control backing you up. You got another TI winner. You've got Ace as well. I don't know. This is gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's
excited.
great that Liquid are here with 4 standings.
Yeah, it was a nice one to do that. You know, we didn't think they were coming, but they ended up coming.
All right. We're going to get some more from all 3 of you in just a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, we need a couple of teams. So why don't we do that now?
Runners-up in the EU Regionals, PPD's newest creation have been busy this season, but face the challenge of performing at the major without offlaner 33. However, with TI winner Mind Control as a replacement and the lethal reliability of Vata and Ace, it would be foolish to count them out just yet. Giving their org their DPC debut, please welcome Ninjas in Pyjamas. Welcome on stage, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Frontrunners for the entire DPC last season, they've kept their double major winning roster, but have yet to fully assert their dominance. Humbled in Hamburg, they arrive in Kuala Lumpur with a point to prove and scores to settle. Winners of the CIS Regionals and led by the iconic Solo. Please give a big hand for Virtus.pro. Welcome on stage, Virtus.pro.
Here we go then, second semi-final of the upper bracket. Virtus.pro in fine form going against one of the surprises of the tournament. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, who've guaranteed themselves a top 6 spot at their very first major as an organisation as well. So already a good result, gents, but I guess that doesn't really matter right now, Gods, does it? I mean, they're not going to be thinking about, yeah, we're top 6, that's okay, we've done our job. they're thinking, how far can we go?
Oh, certainly. You don't really ever settle for where you're at in a tournament. Even if you surpass expectations, you're always looking to go one match further. And PPD has a long history of playing and often losing against VP, but he's going to look to change that here.
How's he going to do that, BSJ? 2-14 in the last 12 months against this team. This particular lineup, minus Roger before, didn't do very well. Did better when they were with Lille, actually, under different circumstances. But just Optic, where he captained last season against Virtus.pro, 2-14. That's not good.
I think you just forget about the past. I think you got a whole new lineup. It's obviously the same captain, but I don't know. I feel like this patch favors his team a lot. I feel like players like Ace love playing on patches with a bunch of cheesy, wonky heroes. I mean, he's an Arc Warden specialist, and even if they didn't notice it before last like
Pretty
3
sure
or 4
they see it
days,
now.
yeah, they definitely know now. I personally hope not to see it anymore, but I really like this team, the way they play. I think Fada proved that he can hang mid with some of the best in that EG series.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of my biggest questions about the team coming in. So with that shored up and having one of the best stand-ins in the world, I think they're good enough to beat VP.
Okay, that's an interesting take on it. Grant, it's a battle for Virtus.pro as well. They're maybe not an Arc Warden team. Maybe they are. We don't know yet. But the point is that they've looked great in patches this tournament. They haven't looked as flawless as they normally look. They've had some struggles in the group stage, had some struggles since they come out of it.
They have, but they're winning. They've won every
Still
series
here.
technically.
Sign of a
Exactly.
champion.
They're still here, and I think that's just, Ramses. The fact that I think Ramses and no one can change up their lanes. Like some teams just refuse to do that. The fact they'll go middle, they'll go carry, they'll go off lane wherever they want. I think it's a pretty big thing. And just having that Ramses morphling is actually just. They might not have the Arc Warden, but they have like the best morphling besides Nisha.
Sometimes they'll even put solo on carry.
Yeah, sometimes they'll put solo on. You never know what they're going to do, actually.
I think
Entirely
PPD's
sure that was
hoping
the
they
right
do that.
way.
I'm sure Peter's like, please
Do you know
do it
what?
to us.
Let's bring up our key players, because I think you may have something to say about these key players. We've picked out these two players because they could end up changing the outcome of the game. One because of his drafting, the other one because of, not his carrying skills.
Yeah, that Solar Drow Ranger probably will not be seeing that for another 2 or 3 years, maybe. Put it in the back pocket.
If I had to choose one carry for a support to play, it'd probably be Drow, though. She's like a very...
It's relatively easy to
She
play.
enables the other heroes. She's kind of like an objective hero. Like, you're the one that's usually having to beg your Drow to go push a tower or something.
Stand in
Liquid
trees
used to
and-
do that. Matu would play support and Kura would play the Drow, and I think the Luna was the other hero, maybe?
My goodness.
Machu's
Yeah.
like, give me damage. I carry you from support.
Yep. But these are the two captains. These are the guys who will be shaping this series with whatever they've prepared in terms of strats, whether you ban the Arc Warden, pick it, play it, the TBs, the PLs, the other big carries as well. Always look out for them.
Ramses obviously will be drafting alongside RZ, but you can imagine that Solo has he's given thoughts to that process. They'll have done exactly what the other teams have been doing, surely, BSJ. They've been thinking about how do we beat this. Do we give them the Arc Warden and we've got a plan to beat it, or do we not give it them, in which case have we got a plan to beat Terrorblade, PL, whatever it might end up being other than that?
Yeah, I feel like the Arc Warden's proven itself to be pretty unbeatable. What is it, like 11-3 or something like that?
It's over 80% win rate right now, and it's been played against the Alchemist, the Slark, the Lycan. What else
We haven't seen it versus PL, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm still waiting for.
I think we did see one game against PL.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the fact you first pick it, and it's that high of a win rate, right? We've seen teams literally just first pick that hero, and it's an 3% win rate. That's just nutty.
The fact that you have to play that much around one hero makes the hero innately broken. Like, even if it weren't to have such an amazing win rate, if you have to pick 3 or 4 heroes to deal with it, I think it's still too good. Kind of like Centaur right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you open Centaur and Arc Warden.
Yeah, when you can't think
pretty
of what
good
to
opening.
when you can't beat it with 1 or 2 heroes, like any hero like that's too good.
It's starting to get out of hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need 2 or 3 heroes to empower one hero to... Because I think there was some talk earlier, Black's convinced that, for instance, you had, I think, what did he go with? Spectre, and then, what else did he say? Magnus and one other. Like when you're starting to talk about picking 3 heroes to counter one on the other side.
What about the other 4
it's
heroes?
Exactly. It's time to ban the hero completely, which we'll see with what they'll do with it. How impressed have you been with Ninjas in Pyjamas at this particular tournament, Gods?
Very impressed. The fact they've come together so quickly with a stand-in definitely helps when you've got Mind Control standing in. Possibly one of the best offlaners in the world last year, and won a TI. Incredibly large hero pool. He plays like more Dota than probably almost any professional Dota player out there. After they won TI, 2 days later, he's playing pubs again. Like, dude, just chill out, take a break. No, this guy lives, breathes Dota, and I think his flexibility has really helped out NiP here.
Yeah, shouldn't forget, of course, they've got a world-class player that's not here. 33 must be sitting at home thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and I think that, the fact that Peter, that was the only person he brought along to the squad from his Optic squad, like, says a lot about what he thinks of 33. But I think, currently for this patch in this tournament, like, Mind Control might just have the better heroes than 33, and it's working out for him.
He's also a pretty good player.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, I talked to PPD. He's super confident. And if there's anything PPD is not, I feel like it's like delusional. I feel like he always has a very good idea of where he stands. Like you heard him at TI with Optic. Like obviously Optic was a pretty good team, but he was like, yeah, we'll take top 8, top 6. Yeah. He knows where he's at. And when he's telling me he feels really good about their strategies, about what they're coming into the tournament with, I believe him. And I always love seeing what he concocts,
Yeah,
I feel like he's the one kind of at the advantage here. As far as I know, VP doesn't have a Arc Warden spammer. So unless they're ready to catch us off, I asked him, like, do they have a Arc Warden player? And he's like, maybe. And he gave me a little something, something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether it ends up coming out or being banned on both teams.
They're talking about that Fada guy. That EG series, it felt like it just turned almost everyone's perspective on him around. Like, everyone's like, this guy can't keep up.
At the end of the first game, though. At the end of the first game, everyone was just like, well, see, told you, too rusty, can't play mid, got beaten, got thrashed. And then after the second and third games, everyone was like, oh, actually, it was just a bad game. Actually, it was just an outstanding game from Sumail.
Yeah.
He would have beaten anyone in that lane in that game.
Anyone, yeah.
It still feels like he needs to be on certain heroes for the matchup. Like when he did well against EG, it's because he's on a DK, a very stable mid, doesn't lose many matchup, always can get some farm. The other one was a TA versus Miranda matchup where he was actually kind of losing the matchup until Sumail got overconfident. So I still think there's some questions about how he's going to do against no one who's, probably put alongside Sumail as far as mechanical mid players go.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? It's still an intriguing matchup as to how they'll fare in that mid lane. It also depends on what Virtus.pro get as well, BSJ, I guess. Do they need the kind of heroes they had in that upper bracket quarterfinal match to come back through? Or is it that actually they're just, it's everyone's cup final, isn't it? Whenever they play Virtus.pro, it's like, yeah, we've got to beat, we could be the team that beats Virtus.pro in this match. Feels like every time someone like Alliance in the group stages, yes, we can beat them.
I don't know. I feel like they kind of pick whatever. I
You still feel like they've got that swag?
Yeah, they may not always have the best results like at TI, and so far this tournament not looking too clean, but I think they operate on that swag. That's like how it either is their downfall or what's going to win them the tournament. So I just think their like all-out aggression style is like still suits them. I think heroes like Morphling are really great for players like Ramses. Like he just loves pushing the limits on all of his carry heroes. Like whenever I'm trying to learn how to push the limits on how much pressure and how crazy I can play, he's like the perfect carry player to watch. And no one's probably one of the top 3 mechanically skilled mids in the entire world. So it's just, when I see a team like this fail, I really don't understand why. Like all of them are so individually impressive, and as a team, I feel like they've played together long enough. But I will see what VP shows up today. I feel like they're kind of an on-off switch.
What do you collectively feel that the impact of the new coach has had in the way that they draft in particular? Has it changed them too far away from where they were before?
Hasn't felt like any they don't have a new identity suddenly.
No.
Like RZQ versus art style just feels like, okay, we want some new ideas. We want a fresh approach to the new season. We believe in this roster, but let's just get a new coach because we didn't live up to our potential at TI. I think it's just one of those things. Sometimes the coach becomes the blame guy maybe, and bringing in new blood often revitalizes a team. And if you believe in your roster, well, where else do you get new blood? You get a new coach.
So. I have to blame somebody.
Exactly.
That's my philosophy, at least. It ain't me.
You can't kick yourself, though, can you?
Yeah. I've tried that.
You've tried? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But it didn't work out for me.
No. That's sad. That means you're still on the team, though.
I have my own team now.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
kicked
what I mean.
myself. Yeah.
You kicked yourself, so you... Yeah, I got it.
You know it.
Grant, do you agree with the Gems? Do you feel like it hasn't changed too much? I mean, it's seemingly a little narrower in the pool. We're not seeing quite the same wildness.
Yeah, I would agree. I think maybe Artstyle had a louder voice during the draft, and I think by having maybe someone who just like I know they've talked about it on Secret. Like Sunby doesn't just go into the draft and tell Puppy to do.
Yeah.
He Puppy will ask him for some input, and I think it's kind of like that now. While Artstyle was more like directly involved, he's just asked for advice, and I think it's helped him a lot more.
Okay, you feel like the ROTK influence isn't isn't quite the way that they're going with it this time.
Yeah, and I think it's good for them because you have some loud figures on VP. They might be like the collectively like loudest team. It feels like.
Yeah, I would like to do some tests on that, some science.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah, just
Words per
measure.
minute in draft or something. Or WPM in draft. That'd be fun.
I feel like NiP, on the other hand, is probably like one of the quietest
yeah.
teams in
Just-
the entire world.
Everyone just like, God, I hope Peter picks me a good hero. I'm not going to suggest something or he'll beat me up.
There is the trophy awaiting the winners on the Sunday. Who will be lifting that one? Will it be Virtus.pro for a record 5th time, which is I don't know if it's ever something they really consider after the season they've had, but it has been a phenomenal run. They've picked up 4 majors now, which ties them with OG, although I still hear the argument. I don't know if you guys agree this or not, but OG won 4 of the first 5 $3 million majors. Does that make it more impressive?
I'd say it does.
Yeah.
There were fewer majors. They were a bigger deal back then. Totally frank. Last season there was 11 majors or something.
Yes.
So I think they still have some catching up to do with OG, who have now got a TI on their resume as well.
Yep. Does put them in the argument of greatest team of all time, that's for sure, as in terms of organisation. There's not many other teams out there that have won majors and a TI, one of which is Liquid. Not here, of course, but they do have at least one man representing them. Are you guys looking forward to having Liquid and OG and Newbie, for that matter, back in the mix?
No.
Makes life a bit more difficult.
That means all the minor teams are going to have to play against, like, NiP or something.
Yeah, Europe is going to be a bloodbath in upcoming
Isn't it
qualifiers.
just?
It's
Yeah.
going to be so juicy.
There's only 6 winners as well, by the way, of a major. Still only 6 teams have ever won a major.
More TI winners than the major winners?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Here we go then. Draft number 1, game number 1, Virtus.pro, NiP. 2 incredible names from the world of esports going head-to-head in the upper bracket semi-final at a Dota 2 major.
So PPD won the toss and chose second pick, which I think is important for 2 reasons. 1, you get the final last pick for Fata, so he doesn't get a bad mid matchup. And 2, I think the Arc Warden is like that 2-hero combo you want to pick in the first stage. No one's overall first picked Arc Warden yet, so I think VP are the ones pressured to ban Arc Warden here.
Second pick, heroes that are hard to counter go up in value because the way the drafting works is first pick gets 3 counters.
No ban from Virtus.pro on the Arc Warden.
Wait. Oh, wow.
So a VP have to be either considering how to deal with it or overall first picking it, which we have yet to see.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
mean, if anyone's got the balls to do it, it's them, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to see the
probably.
PL second. I actually want to see that come out.
The problem is NiP can ban the PL here if that's the game plan, you know.
That's true. That's true. I'm sure they have more than one plan. Like usually, when teams will plan according to the first
ban
4 picks and bans, they will get that far in their draft.
There we
Like,
go.
They will make.
Okay.
Oh,
Big
I like that better than
ban.
a tiny. They like it too. Apparently.
There we go.
Wow.
it's
That's a
NiP.
hero we haven't
Hold
seen in a
on.
while.
Of course, this
Hello.
is NiP,
Oh,
guys.
hello.
So every team has been just banning Drow against NiP. How do we forget about this?
Yeah.
Very good
And
against
we,
Enigma.
We get a Drow Wind
Yeah.
Ranger. I'm very happy right now.
But the Wind Ranger.
This is a bluff. I mean, they're calling the bluff. They don't think VP plays Arc Warden based on this because I feel like Arc Warden's good against these heroes. And they're just handing it to him second pick. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to take it.
Yeah. This is a bait.
These teams met in the group stage, I believe. They were in the same group, and in that series, VP banned Drow both games because it was right after NiP had won their first BO3 using Drow in both games. NiP won the qualifier, got second, I believe, in the EU qualifiers with Drow like every single game as well. So it's their bread and butter. It's their most comfortable strat.
This is such a turnaround from 3 years ago.
Such a turnaround from last series.
Well, CIS teams just would have been drafting these 2.
I think VP could also consider like the PLs, which are very good against Drow strats.
TB is good too.
Yep.
Any high armor or illusion hero. You don't want to pick Morphling. That also deny picks the Morphling. One of the worst carries against Drow. It kind of just gets outpaced. The silence really good too.
Is this it? No, it's a Terrorblade. Okay.
Sure, they're going to take out the Brood Mother, right? On the side of NiP.
NiP, yeah.
Something to consider whenever. I wonder if they're considering a second pick for VP.
He's got it on his sleeve, you know. Peter will not forget about a Brood pick ever again.
Wow. Only needs to happen once, it feels like, but then you see a team have it happen 10 times.
Who usually plays the Enigma on that team? Is it Pasha or Roger?
It's normally Pasha.
Seconds remaining.
So why do you? I mean, I'm just trying to think. Why do you take the Wind Ranger right there? Like the Drow, obviously, but why Wind Ranger now?
It's their preferred 4 position for Saksa when they have Drow Ranger. It leaves their cores pretty open. Like one of the games they ran a Drow strat in the group stage, they didn't actually pick any ranged cores with it. They had Timbersaw and Centaur.
But they said 2 ranged
So-
supports.
Yeah, they had 2 ranged supports.
Okay.
It gives you this flexibility to counterpick your opponent's cores and just, use the Drow as a Drow. Just for sieging, not for actually enabling your other core players.
Turn to battle.
Because this hero used to not scale at all, but Drow's going into the late game can scale pretty hard. Now, I don't know what the big change to that. I don't know if
The
you know
cooldown
what
reduction.
Is a cooldown reduction?
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes it so the waves always push. It's actually a pretty.
It's
and
really
like the
annoying.
items you want to buy, like Manta, previously made no sense because it's a 50-second cooldown on range heroes, but now it's only 25.
10 seconds remaining.
There goes the tiny now, though.
Dire team back.
Shaker banned out.
I like Wyvern a lot for NiP or Virtus.pro. I think that should be a highly contested hero here. Just good against all the physical damage.
Speaking of Wind Ranger and Sox, I think Sox actually, it's like the one very, very good matchup. I think in this patch, his heroes, he has a lot more versatility than I think Roger does. I think Roger's heroes currently, are a little bit weaker. In Sox, we saw, the bring out the Keeper, the Light. We've seen this Wind Ranger multiple times. I think, that's the one position where NiP has, a very big advantage. I don't know if you agree.
I think so. I think he plays 4 position like a core, more similar to Yapsor or someone, where he wants items, he wants to scale. There's the Winter Wyvern.
Best
they
support, I
mentioned.
think, against the Enigma. It's always good against Terrorblade as well. Just, you want the BKB piercing stun against the Black Hole, and it also helps you kill the Eidolons in the laning stage with the Q or the W.
Even pressure for kills on Enigma with the W plus cold arrows, that's a lot of slow that can potentially catch Enigma off guard.
It's my favorite support to lane with whenever I'm laning against Enigma.
5 seconds remaining.
VP might just want to grab a solo hero here, get their 5 position. Silencer still in the pool. Actually, sorry, they're not the ones against the Enigma. What are they thinking? What's solo want to play here?
Could just be an Ogre. This might just be timing whatever, we'll just boost the Terrorblade, get a good laner as well. Ogre doesn't do that bad, where he does not care about Winter Wyvern. He'll just run at him.
Yeah. Ogre, Undying.
Good sign.
Yeah, I was thinking of dying too. Any beefy laner.
Dire team picked.
Oh, they have done this. Okay,
This is
they're
the
doing it again.
support Sven.
Yeah.
Solo plays it.
Oh,
Did MSS do this first at TI? That's the first time I saw it.
I think so.
I like this better than Core Sven, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tanky melee hero that gives you the war cry, so it's for all the physical damage.
Yeah.
You can't play him with a core, you might as well do something.
I mean, yeah, you get an Enigma Crimson Guard, and then you have the Sven level 4 Warcry.
5
Drow doesn't even have an aura. Drow doesn't even have a bow and arrow anymore. She will do 0 damage.
It's a dart or a nerf arrow.
Yeah. I think this isn't going to be like a swaggy Enigma. This is for sure just going to be, I'm going to sit in the lane and I'm going to get a lot of stuff until I get Crimson. We're
I
just
think
gonna
they go
push.
brew here.
They're going to pick Mind Control. Yeah.
They go brew for the AoE purge against the Sven Warcry. It also is a hero that can go in first before the Enigma holes, so it's not afraid of getting gone on.
And versus TB, obviously, just taking out illusion. Like you said,
Yeah.
the illusions and the Warcry just gone.
Yeah, the AoE purge was too good to not pick, I think.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I'm just don't, at least Enigma, TB, Sven. It's just a weird trio of heroes to pick. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are they
what ties
missing?
it
What do they
together?
need? Yeah.
They may,
ties it together.
they may just want to pick their mid here because, otherwise some of those top mids can get banned. Pick Lina, ban TA, for example.
Dire team back.
Silencer, they go for 5.
Okay,
So,
Yep.
Sven is Roger's hero, I guess,
Yeah.
at this point.
yeah, they have a lot of counterplay on NiP to what Virtus.pro wants to do, so I guess Silencer is kind of their combo breaker here. Allows them to
So-
actually commit to something.
Brood ban.
Oh, is the silencer really that good though? Like Winter Wyvern just pops ulti. What do? Do you global then? Like they can just disengage. Panda can ulti after and go back in. It feels like a strange silencer pick to
I
me.
feel like VP actually needs a reliable way to start fights
Yeah.
to capitalize on this silencer pick. I don't feel like they're good for counter initiation, like you said.
Yeah, and they have to. It has to be your mid hero that's good at initiation. It has
just
to be a
do
good
DK.
laner versus like a Drow buffed, probably maybe DK if DK doesn't get banned.
I like DK for VP.
Yeah, I actually like DK kind of for both teams.
Do they have enough damage with DK? I feel like their TB's damage can be mitigated a lot by Wyvern, by Crimson Guard, these kind of items that can come out. And then DK doesn't give more damage, though.
That's true. They could have a way to like punish Cold Embrace, like they banned Tinker. You can pick something like Zeus, just some magical damage heavy hero. I don't think you want like Pugna here.
I like the Zeus or Lina, something that just gives you more damage output in case TB is not getting a chance to get his items up or is being controlled by a Brewmaster Cyclone.
Yeah, just buy time for the TB. That's like what a lot of teams do. Just buy time for him until he actually does the damage.
Yeah, but they'll be really slow if they pick something like Zeus. Like they'll just have a very fragile period.
And Pugna themselves.
They do go
Okay,
DK.
all right. Well, we understand why, but we have our,
Yeah, I mean, I
There's
think they
reasons why
needed
not.
it. I
Yeah.
honestly would
There's still
probably
some-
prefer the stun over
Yeah,
the damage.
still some concerns there, though, isn't there?
It doesn't feel amazing.
do you need a frontliner on the IP, or are you fine just picking up some like Alina, who does well versus DK, will get farm, has a ton of burst for that TB with the new Ags build?
Remaining.
I'm thinking.
5
I don't mind just going all in with Lina and trying to win all 3 lanes and just like plowing over VP.
It's a lot of range.
They definitely want some more hybrid damage. Their physical damage can be very easily mitigated because of Sven, DK being tanky, TB Enigma just going to get tanky items as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind just another backliner. Something. Lina sounds okay. I don't even know if you need a right clicker though. Like, you could, but
Do they Timbersaw? We saw that last time with the Drow. Timbersaw is great against those
that
heroes.
is looking pretty juicy actually.
Because
That's a pretty solid suggestion.
you need, last time they ran the Enigma Sven, they just didn't die at a certain point in the game, and a hero like Timbersaw actually stops that. You actually can go in and do damage through all that.
They actually have no way to kill him.
It's such a good lane too. Like he's going to free farm. Again, we've seen them do this. Drow, who cares? We've got a win range of 4 who's going to scale well. Let's just get these melee cores that round out our lineup better.
Whoa!
Fata Razor.
It's back. It's back.
You mentioned it during the group stage.
I don't know. I can't believe that.
Guys.
I don't know.
Guys.
First DK though.
Guys.
Another purge for the Sven Warcry. It's unreliable, random purge, but
I feel like
What's
you're too all
happening?
in now.
Is it a good Razor get? I mean,
It is. But is it a good hero?
Yeah,
But yeah, exactly. It's, right, it's a great
more the-
Razor
more the
game.
question, isn't it? 52-48 says Twitter right now in favor of Virtus.pro. Very close as far as the voting is concerned. Close in terms of draft?
Hard to say.
This Razor, man.
I don't know what to expect out of this.
Well, it was definitely not what we were expecting as far as the draft. That went way outside of the meta, but ultimately that does look like a very NiP lineup as we're starting to get to know them. Bar the Razor at the end. Is that the winning hero?
I believe so. I think NiP's got game 1. I don't know what to expect out of this Razor, but if there's a time to make it work, it's here, and Fata plays this hero better than anyone out there.
It does.
yeah, I'm actually going to go with NiP for this one too. I feel like the Brewmaster pick, when I thought of it, was just like too good. Like, I never even played that hero, and I felt like that purge is just too strong here. And I feel like he's just not going to go blink because he's against a silencer. He'll just go like Crimson and damage mitigation, and I feel like VP is going to have a really tough time dealing with that.
I love the Razor pick. You get it for Fada 10th. It's like one of his best heroes. But I just think VP, they're going to get to a certain point where like 20 minutes, they're not going to take damage. They're just going to run down lanes with this Enigma Sven, and they're going to take 0 damage, and they're going to take your towers. And what's a Drow going to do about that?
All right, so Virtus.pro for you.
Yeah, Virtus.pro.
All right, okay, so 2 for Ninjas in Pajamas and 1 for Virtus.pro. A little bit of a split decision, as we've come to expect on this panel as well, because the teams are just doing their own thing right now. They're confusing the hell out of us. Hopefully they're not confusing our commentators, though, as we get into game number 1.
VP NiP starts now. We've got interesting picks, both sides ready to take objectives. Trent, I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, we're good to go here. We got a Drow lineup on one side, a Terrorblade on the other. I can't believe the crowd's still cheering for that hero, but I'm ready to go. And most importantly, though, it's Razor. He's back, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh yeah, baby. Let's see if they can do it. Game 1 starts. Let's hop into it. Well, Trent, things looking straightforward laning-wise. 6 heroes down bottom, though.
Are they? I don't know. There's a Drow in the mid lane right now. She's thinking about getting some blocks off for her buddy Fada, you know, making sure that he can have a nice time on the Razor while he's actually the one committing there. Oh, look at that beautiful face of Whip-S.
Oh, yes.
But MC just going to scout out the rune here for now. So Ramsey's TB, solo silencer. We got Sven stun here too.
We'll see a fight over the bounties, and Mind Control going to take a lot of damage. They'll make it back to his side of the river with a few taunts in tow. Bounties will be 2 apiece. Even spread so far.
So there's an Enigma in the mid lane.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
He's going to be up top on the Dragon Knight. We'll see the rotation now from the Sven, so it will break into dual lanes.
The old mid Enigma, you know, classic stuff. Up against the Razor, finding an answer where this Razor, of course, would have a very nice time against the DK in lane. Thanks to Static Link, Pasha's just going to ignore that.
Yeah, Ace having to walk all the way back up to the top lane right now. Right now, Saksa is solo up against these two.
That fabulous +2 damage. I mean, can easily hold his own here.
It'll add up, though. Which draft do you favor, though, Trent? Do you have an edge based on draft alone either side?
I'm going for VP. I think I just tend to favor the one that seems easier to execute. I agree with everything the panel was saying in terms of like this Brewmaster. Mind Control can certainly help control this game with the Purge. But it's going to be very difficult, right? Like, you're talking about like ensuring that you get it every time on the Warcry, but to me, that damage reduction from the side of Virtus.pro looks very irritating to play into. Between a Crimson Guard from the Enigma, the Warcry, and then also just like Breathe Fire and everything adding up. Plenty of reasons.
Yeah, and even though that Purge on the Brewmaster sounds great on paper, VP still have to be clumped up for that opportunity to be there. And of course, you're locked onto the cooldown of the Brewmaster ultimate, so not something you're always going to have at your disposal. Mind Control taking a lot of harassment down in this bottom lane.
I think it's going to be a lot of a back and forth this match between Global Silence and the Brewmaster split, and we're just going to be looking for like the timings of those fights in the mid game. Who's going to be getting the edge there and finding the fights when they want on their own terms. As everyone dropping pretty low. Now the Reflection bottom.
This could be our first blood here. Mind Control, he will go down to Ramses as he finds that last auto attack. First blood goes out for Virtus.pro.
And 2 intelligence there for Solo to get things started. Big brain captain getting a little bit bigger.
Very intrigued by this mid lane, though. Seems to be favoring Fada, at least for now. 9-4 on the Razor compared to the 6-3 Enigma. Wonder if that will shift a little bit as the Enigma gets a few more levels under his belt.
The main problem is that it's just a frustrating thing for Razor because Razor's supposed to be this lane dominator, and now he's in a lane where there's constantly being pulled back.
Right.
And it's just being something that you can't instantly dominate the entire lane like you want to as a Razor.
Down bottom, we'll see PPD take some harassment from Solo. The curse has already come out. So Winter Wyvern should be able to survive here, I think.
He has 6 HP from level 2, just makes it so he can't really trade with Solo at the moment.
Gonna try to wrap around the tree line here. Not ideal for this Wyvern.
Yeah,
now the TP, and he'll be good. Up top, Roger looking for a creep cut, and it looks like it'll be a successful endeavor. Try to get some lane control back their way.
Not the most fun last thing in our towers Drow, but should be all right. Bottom lane, just like PPD, also coming back to this lane, not TPing home, just ensuring the Mind Control can continue to have his presence here. 6-4 versus the 10, and 10-7 for Ramses. Man, that's a lot of deny stacking up for him. And right back at it now with another meta.
Yeah, hard for the Brewmaster to sustain. You can see how much damage Ramses does with these auto attacks. Even with the Stout Shield, just cuts right through it. Going back towards the mid, even though, like you mentioned, it's maybe not the best matchup for Razor in terms of denies. He's having a grand old time. Going to steal some more damage from Pasha and still able to maintain this lane presence up to 9 denies himself.
Yeah, I noticed Pasha also hasn't been like targeting down the range creeps either. So still getting some decent experience Fada's way. Not really losing out on that battle like you might have thought him to.
Bottom lane now, Mind Control. Once again, taking a lot of damage, but they might be able to turn it onto Solo. Ramses loses his Metamorphosis and won't be able to find a kill.
The other part that I worry about this draft in terms of like for Virtus.pro, it feels like they can also just get off to a really quick start, right? Like we're talking about how it kind of feels like going later and later, it's just gonna look really good for Virtus.pro. But even right off the bat, if they get a good start in these lanes, like things are kind of going for them right now, then you can easily start shoving down towers with a DK and a Terrorblade.
Yeah, I guess one cause for concern though is the side lane DK and lower on experience than you'd normally expect, having to share with Roger's Sven.
Yeah, they'd really like to get a couple kills up here, just because you got a double stun lane. You're always a little disappointed if you're not creating kill opportunities there, but the creep management has been very good from NiP, so they're ensuring that the Drow's either safely in the tower. Well, there you go.
Yeah, we'll see the stun onto Saksa. There's the wind run away. No one actually does not have Dragon Tail skilled up, so it's a single stun lane
yeah, so
for
much
now.
for the double stun lane, right?
Yeah. Solo with an invisibility rune. We're getting close to the first set of bounties.
Oh, can he steal it?
Gonna be close, but Fada comes in, brings him down really low. Solo still able to grab it.
I think they might have known.
He will deny himself to the neutrals, though.
Nice play.
VP will find the advantage with the bounties. 3-1. Now Ramsey's down in the bottom lane, slowed down, but not even close to a kill.
Yeah, and these levels are just so nice right now for Ramses. Like, you're looking for a potential kill threat when the Brewmaster hits 7, but Ramses is going to be well ahead of him at this point.
You feel like this mid lane is backfired a little bit for VP. It doesn't seem like Fada's been slowed down at all. He's #1 on CS and still have a lot of denies.
Yeah, he's pretty much just been running up in under the tower and everything too, so no real concern. Now he's trying to make a rotation, actually, it looks like. So heading towards that top lane. Gonna rely on Soxon here with a shackle.
Yep.
Even
Ranger
better, a bait.
stunned up. There's the double stun as no one gets close. Soxa trying to do what he can, but now Fada's here. He's ready to turn things around. He starts stealing damage from no one, and this DK will be done for. The Sven was able to TP home, but it's NiP that turned things around.
Yeah, that was a really nice rotation there. Ace just kind of walking perhaps a little too close intentionally, baiting out the stun, causing him to go on the drow, and then suddenly Fada shows up for the cleanup crew. And at least a quick TPO from Roger will save his own life, but of course, big victory for them. As Fada's going to stick around for a little bit here with the siege wave.
Yeah, siege creep still standing. Looks like Soxa might want to rotate mid, but he's just going to head back to the lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, PPD taking a lot of damage, and he'll fall to the wrath of the Terrorblade silencer combo.
Yeah, they'll get one back now, 2-1, and now Mind Control, he finds a haste rune, but it's only 4.5 right now on this Panda, so... Oh, well, Solo's pretty low, though. No mana required.
Smoke from Roger, wrapping around the mid lane, looking for an opening onto Ace.
Yeah, Solo, indeed feeling it. Ramses is still holding the point here.
Smoke breaks, Malefice to start things off, the Stormhammer to follow. Do they have the damage for this? They'll need a few more. The Black Hole deployed. Soxa not able to interrupt it. Fada will TP in. Now they'll try to turn onto Pasha, but the TP will go. It's a clean kill for Virtus.pro.
Tips back and forth. And meanwhile, just making all the space for Ramses down here. Nice and safe. Still holding in case he needs the Sunder, and that's a good
there
moment
it
for
is.
it.
Mind Control now in trouble. He'll try to TP out, but it'll be close, and he makes it. Roger on the back line. There's the stun onto the Winter Wyvern. They'll still pick up one. VP strike once more.
A lot of rotations coming out early in this match. Not really a strict 2-1-2 as we've been used to over the past couple of months. Feels like Roger's heading all over the place. We've already had Fada and Ace swap their lanes too to try and get some more levels stacked up on the Drow Ranger, because she's still 4. Heading at the 8-minute mark versus the now level almost 8 Pasha in the mid lane.
A lot of pressure on Fada right now to keep up this momentum. The only one on his team that's farming well. He's getting a lot of space up in the top lane, trying to give Ace this space mid. But it's not really much. Roger is in hot pursuit, and he's going to continue to repel this Drow Ranger.
Yeah, just constantly bullying her too.
Look at this. He knows she only has limited space to farm. He drops another stun. I think unlikely to find a kill here, but still not letting Ace get anything. Roger likely to toss his life away for this. The Courier almost goes down, but they get the immunity off and do punish that rotation.
Dire's middle tower
I don't know if he thought like he could just scare her,
Bold.
or what. I guess. I mean, clearly he didn't expect the other two supports to be lingering around a Drow who's jungling. That's pretty understandable, but so would have had a pretty hard time at getting the kill himself there.
I guess the Arctic Burn also helping out the Winter Wyvern to hop over the hill there and actually make it to help the Drow.
No, that means Ramsey's one of the benefits of the Terrorblade. You just head into the jungle, farm up yourself, get some space in the lane to some of these greedier supports. So it'll be going toe-to-toe with mind control and the Brewmaster here. Roger will have to be a bit cautious. Single shackle, he could easily go down, and mind control is just closing in on that level 6. Roger never going to quite know when it's going to hit him. At the same time, you've got Spada doing
Solo. He's going to move into the enemy territory. He finds Ace. Might not have the damage for this, but again forces the Drow Ranger to TP home, further delaying that level 6.
Man, that slowing down that marksmanship is just really hurting this whole strat overall.
It's unrelenting pressure into enemy territory. Great vision as well.
And the thing is, like, you've got a Razor doing the same thing, right? Where Fada's rotating through that dire jungle, farming it up. I mean, he's actually been holding the Eye of the Storm for a while, which is something a little unusual. Like, a lot of Razors will constantly just kind of spam it to keep the farm pace up. But while he's been doing that, no one's been soaking up top lane. No one's been comfortable enough to, like, sit there with no one. He could easily pop the Dragon Form, go for a stun on you, maybe you just die. So they end up giving up control there, losing their bounty runes. At least in the bottom lane, they will secure the other two. Oh, Pasha, if he was maybe had that black hole, but still another 10 seconds away, could have considered it for the easy solo.
Yeah, PPD going to survive that one. And finally, Ace gets his level 6, so marksmanship is online. Up top, Fada continuing to put on pressure. Level 9 compared to this level 7 Dragonite, but there's the Dragon Tail. Ramses rotates in. Metamorphosis is used. Fada just tries to TP out, and it will work.
Good read there on the play. Make sure no one's there. Shackle on the bottom lane onto Roger. Now with the clap, but raindrops and a straight TP.
They've got the boulder, and this time Sven will be interrupted. Does drop the stun to try to make the escape, but nowhere to go. Saxa also joining the party in the tree line, and we'll finish him off with a power shot to the face.
Yeah, so siege waves on both towers now. However, this one's a little bit more terrifying with the Dragon Form as well as a Metamorphosis going. You gotta expect the Radiant to take top quicker and potentially have a chance to rotate to the bottom lane, especially with that black hole once again still up and available here.
Yeah, not the best sieging prowess down in this bottom lane, but
they
there
want
will
that
be a
mid.
rotation up top. Fada and PPD going in onto no one. He's trying to finish off this tower, and it looks like he will get it. However, it'll be denied by Fata, and Fata also gets that kill. Looks like that will open up for VP to take that tower mid, as you mentioned.
Yeah, that is a nice deny, but losing your mid tower, of course, the most pivotal one in terms of overall map control here. Perhaps Peter can also find the deny, and he does!
Wow.
In the middle of Eidolons, yeah, tip well deserved here.
Okay. Still 2 towers down, though, and in the bottom lane, they didn't even finish off that tier 1 as Ramses has rotated back down and repelled the push, finishing off that siege creep. So despite the denies, we'll still call it a victory for VP in terms of map control. Global silence used.
I think, I'm not sure if that was intentional.
Interesting.
It seemed a little unusual.
All right, well, no harm done, I suppose. Back to bottom lane. Mind control takes a stun from the Sven. Follow up from Pasha. There is a black hole available here. He will try to hold on to it.
All right.
They will still secure the kill.
I mean, they still get the kill. You know, he didn't accidentally pick a Drow Ranger, or in this case, the Terrorblade or something, so we'll take the misclick on the global and just move that right into the tower.
Well, maybe now some continual sieging from Virtus.pro in the bottom lane, or no, maybe just going to head back to farming. Pasha has picked up that Helm of the Dominator already on the Enigma, and about halfway to that Blink Dagger coming up next. So it looks like Blink Dagger going to be the item of choice on no one's DK, who's still getting a lot of space up in this top lane. Not too far off.
Wow, Treads Blink. Very aggressive build, but when you have a Terrorblade in your team, you can do that kind of stuff. You just need to be this like frontliner, meat shield, and then backed up by a spend too. So I like the idea here from no one. Just looking to be the playmaker, set him up for the easy one-timers.
Yep. Definitely fits this kind of high-octane Dota we should be looking at here, especially in the mid-game. I mean, both teams just have so much ability to punish objectives once they win a team fight. Bottom lane could see some action break out. Pasha all by his lonesome.
NiP are setting up pretty hard here. I mean, they've got the ward in behind now, plays from PPD. They want to see anyone trying to rotate along the tree line. Tower's so low, it looks like it should just be such a free one, especially with the split. Curious to see if they're going to attempt any sort of a backup play here for Pasha, again, with that black hole still available.
Yeah, another item just picked up here. Could be a good reveal. They'll try to finish off his Centaur. That'll be a step in the right direction. Level 1 Midnight Pulse.
They're trying to take advantage right now. It's like Pasha's trying to hold that for as long as you can, and that was the end of it, but they're smoking into the mid lane. Maybe hoping there'll be some sort of rotation on the Ramses.
Yeah, Metamorphosis recently deployed, about half duration left.
This is a really long wraparound, but they haven't seen any heroes for a while.
Both teams with vision right here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
NiP in a very precarious situation right now.
It's all squished down that one part of the map. At this point, as VP, like, it took them so long to take this tower. You're pretty happy with this. You've been getting a lot of farm across your heroes. They've got 4 heroes who essentially aren't farming. They've got the Panda on the lane. I guess Drow took 1 camp. So I call that pretty good use of your time if you're Virtus.pro.
Tower does end up getting finished off, maybe hoping to give that one to Mind Control to close the gap on that Blink Dagger. But they do open up this Radiant jungle nonetheless. Now we'll see where NiP go for this.
I'm sure if you're NiP right now, you're looking, it's 15 minutes, you're a Drow lineup. I don't think you're feeling too great about how your game's been going right now. You've only gotten 1 tower, arguably like the easiest one to take in most games too. Especially when you traded for essentially 2 towers to do it, so definitely into crunch time, but they can also explode out of 1 very good fight, looking towards things like Roche or just a very quick tower siege.
Well, they will find Roger. Bounty runes come out. VP grab 2. It looks like NiP will be able to grab the others on their side of the map. Another even spread.
And Virtus.pro on the other hand, like, I don't think they're really too concerned about the pacing here. Nice vision put down from PVD once again, spotting all 3 of these heroes kind of lurking in the area. So no one going to get caught by this Blink Dagger, and no one, but he will keep the pressure up on the tower while Ramses goes to cut mid there with that siege wave. Make sure you can push this away. Instantly blinks the tether.
A couple of sentries down up here, but not going to find those observer wards. Both teams playing very cautious right now, Trent.
Yep. Blink Dagger will be the choice here for Pasha, so he's going to be, I don't know, it's a pretty tough game for a Blink Dagger, honestly. I mean, it's also difficult with the Black Hole because the winner's curse, but decently long-range stuns and silences coming out here from the side of NiP, so he's going to have to either wait till they're all used or just kind of YOLO and try and catch like 2 or 3 heroes in these Black Holes.
Yeah, we were thinking this Enigma might actually go for the Crimson Guard, but instead it's going to be the Sven that picks it up. Already has that buckler.
Yeah, this one problem that supports Sven though, especially because you have to farm in towards the Warcry, or like rather build in towards it. I mean, it makes sense, you're against a Drow lineup, so in that way, I guess you can kind of delay the Crimson Guard, right? Like 20 armor, that's a lot of armor at 16 minutes in the game. So it's not a major rush for the Enigma to straight up go for it. I wouldn't mind seeing just like straight up Greaves though, honestly, instead of the Blink Dagger, but Pasha's already getting some use out of it, dodging a couple skills there, allowing him to farm a little bit deeper inside NiP territory. And they fail on that smoke, and they fail to really make any progress in the last 2 minutes. They are keeping up in terms of net worth though, but again, I don't know if keeping pace at the moment right now is going to be enough for NiP.
Definitely feels a little bit scary. This Drow Ranger now is the Dragon Lance. Looks like Shadow Blade going to be the choice after that, but still a lot of farming to do. Closing in on that level 2 marksman also. Drow Ranger is always scary in these kind of even farm games though, Trent, because late game, she will come online. Give her enough time and she is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, there's also a Terrorblade.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That too.
And that guy's pretty spooky. Stronger you
now
are,
mid
the stronger
lane.
he is.
Initiation onto Fada. No one with the first stun. Roger with the follow-up. Do they actually have the damage to find this kill though? The Razor's very tanky with that Sange and drums. Winner's Curse on the Dragon Knight will stop the assault, and they keep Fada alive.
Got a little dicey there without there being a cold embrace, but using the salve and the shrine, you know, to back himself up. Vision spotted the fact that they were moving in there, and yeah, you can see Solo instantly pings it because he ran away from the shrine earlier than necessary on Fada because he saw no one coming up. So,
Fada got to be happy with this item build right now, though. 1600 HP. Not a lot of heroes would have been able to survive that onslaught at 18 minutes. Now Ace, let's see if he can survive this one. Pasha jumps forward. There's the Black Hole. Global silence as well. No way to interrupt, and that'll be a dead Drow Ranger. PPD also slowed down as he tries to save his friend, but he won't be able to get there in time. It's a quick pick for VP.
And as much as we talk about the Silencer being a big counter to the Enigma, well, they're also pretty good friends. When it pairs up together, you can't cast any of those stuns that they have plenty of on NiP if they're global.
Roger left behind, though. Brew Split going to be used. They'll have the Boulder Toss. So set it up for a kill on to Sven.
Yeah, it looks like they really wanted to give the kill over to Mind Control, too. Everyone else just kind of ditched.
1 for 1, but I think VP okay with that exchange. They're position 5, or well, position 4, I suppose, for the Drow Ranger.
Still a bit of a slow burn in this game. You know, 6-6, 19 minutes in, considering the Drow strat that we're witnessing here.
Certainly feels a little bit better for Virtus.pro, despite the farm being even. Terrorblade has also picked up his first big item. That's going to be the Manta style.
I do like what Sox has done, though, right? He's gone like that phase Maelstrom, too, though, so he is scaling better than the Sven at the moment.
Yep. Actually farming pretty well, just nipping at the heels of the Dragon Knight.
Pasha feels like he's getting so much room in this game, too. Just like Blink Helm, running around the map, not getting picked off, 2-0 and 1. Again, just blinks back the second there's any sign of danger. Not really getting those big pickoffs past the laning stage now for Soxa, maybe something that they'd be kind of hoping for, but again, that's because he's going this greedier strat and heading in towards just the Maelstrom Blink. But now a Halberd picked up here for Razor. One of the better parts about this pick, too. Not only was it a good matchup against the DK and forced these kind of awkward lane rotations, but it's also one of these heroes where the Halberd can be considered pretty core and a very good item against the Terrorblade.
Yeah, absolutely. Be looking for an opening there, but not going to find it. Bounty Runes again will go the way of Virtus.pro, 3 for 1. Still a very even net worth spread, though. Less than 1,000 gold is the favor. Very farm-heavy match.
Yeah, seriously. Raj is just now starting to put his points into the cleave. Just using the God Strength to get through there. Might even head towards the Ancients, honestly, at this point, but life's good.
Bottom lane, no one. Initiated on by the Brewmaster. No Bruce Split available, but Fata on his way in. Now the TP out. Global silence. No one just barely makes it, but he does live.
Bit of protection there from Solo. And that does lower the potential for rotations over the next 2 minutes, but saving no one, I'm going to call that worth it, especially when he's closing in on some of these BKB components.
Crimson Guard not too far away. Less than 1,000 gold. Definitely one of the key items for Virtus.pro to feel
like
comfortable with these team fights. Bruce Split deployed to kill this Sven.
Yeah.
Fata now with the link, stealing some damage. They'll dive under the tower, and VP won't rotate anyone to try to save him.
This should be enough just to straight up get this tower. Like, yes, they use the global to save no one, but once that global's gone, that gives a lot of momentum over to NiP. They feel very confident just kind of pushing for engagements. They want to force one of these fights because they know they can't use the black hole either. Like, once global's down, black hole's also essentially down. I mean, maybe he can use it for like 1 second before it gets stunned, and perhaps it'll have some sort of an impact, but it's definitely not the one that you're going to be looking for here.
Right.
But this is the classic situation of the Dire team winding up on the bottom half of the map, and you can already see these Radiant heroes starting to secure vision around the Roche pit. And they're going to send Ramses back to try and deal with this bottom lane.
Seems Ramses will be sufficient. Finishes off that siege creep. Just a little bit of chip damage at the tier 3. And Fata in mind control will be completely repelled. We'll actually see Fata TP mid.
And that's where this vision that's left behind from PVD is going to be very important down that bottom lane. Like, trying to keep an eye on this area, because this Terrorblade's going to want to be playing around the mid and shoving illusions into the bottom lane. So if they can try and wrap around and maybe get a kill onto Ramses, that could open up for one of these other tier 2s.
Blink Dagger just about there for the Wind Ranger.
This is their smoke, too. They're going to try and use this ward right now with a DD rune.
And a Shadow Blade on the Drow. This is a big opportunity. How do they initiate this, though?
Perhaps even better, though. What if we can get into the Roche pit with this? This is a dangerous play to go for here. So many heroes nearby.
Global silence up in 10 seconds.
A smoke from Virtus.pro too here.
They kill it so quickly. They are showing in the bottom lane to try to distract. No one walking near the pit. He jumps in time. Roshan low, but he's still standing. There's the black hole. It connects, and this Drow Ranger's in trouble. She'll go down first. Aegis of the Immortal was snatched by no one, and it's all VP all day as PPD gets chased down. 4 dead on the side of NiP, and they don't even have an Aegis to show for it.
Fractions of a second coming in this one with that global silence. If it's not there, that fight is so difficult for Virtus.pro, but they weren't quite quick enough there for NiP. They didn't abuse the cooldown at just the right moment.
But
and
here we go.
The explosion of a Terrorblade lineup, it is very, very real in Kuala Lumpur. Seen it the entire tournament, and this match is no exception.
It all built up into that. The one silver lining for NiP is they did actually get the last hit on Roche, but look at no one. So much confidence as he jumps into the pit. The black hole perfectly placed.
Yeah, it looked like maybe there's a moment just because Soxa, I think, got left out of the black hole there, but couldn't find any sort of a shackle in the very limited space. And of course, Peter, just nothing he can do there.
Absolutely brutal. Now a 3,000 net worth lead for Virtus.pro. The game still in reach for NiP.
Yeah, been a very close game this whole match. I mean, even now, just 3K lead, you said it's not that big of a deal.
But look at Ramses. He is so far ahead now. 14K net worth. The next highest is the Razor, not even at 10,000.
I mean, you just think like, all right, this damage coming from NiP, it's so physical based, and this guy has 43 armor at the moment right now, and that's without his Sven nearby, by the way.
Yeah.
The damage reduction is going to be ridiculous. He's just sitting at 68% physical resistance right now.
Yeah, he's a beefcake. And he's going to have a BKB on top of that. So physical damage, spells, none of it. Is going to be a tough one. Aegis still in the hands of the Dragonite right now, who's also picked up his fresh BKB. Definitely not your ideal Aegis carrier, but I think VP happy to get the Aegis at all out of that situation.
And NiP also maybe just kind of shock and awe there, but they found no chance of retaliation over those past 2 minutes, and that means the global silence is back up. They still have to wait a while before they'll have the black hole in combination, but it's just enough, though, to allow them to keep progressing forward. And this Blink first, it's a very aggressive build on the Dragonite, but as long as you get some stuff done, and then you move into this BKB, it's absolutely terrifying. It's going to push them into these tier 2s so easily, and puts a lot of pressure on them now to not waste the big ulti to bring down that Aegis.
VP ready to continue taking objectives. Still about 30 seconds till that black hole comes up. But they are all 5 in the top lane. EPD.
I'm not sure how you win this fight. Like, it must take some sort of a big shackle from Soxa.
Winner's Curse. It comes down. It's pretty well placed, but is it going to be enough? The global silence follows up as the Brewmaster jumps in. Mind Control has the BKB. He's able to get the split, but Fata, he's already gone down. The Sven deep past the tower. It just feels like they don't do much damage. Roger's a support, and the Drow can't finish him off. Now no one jumps in the back line. Will get the stun onto Ace. This Sven still continuing to pursue against Soxa. Drops the stun. He'll be able to make it back. Sidesteps the power shot, and now they'll bring down Soxa. 2 dead on the side of NiP. It's VP once more, and we're not done yet. Mind Control comes back into Panda form. He'll evade a few. More than a few. Enough to flick into the trees. The TP home, but he won't make it. Pasha brings him down with the Midnight Pulse.
I'm not sure where the chat wheels went for Mind Control. Oh, there we go. He's all good.
Another 2K swing, and VP now broach the high ground. There is a glyph available for NiP, but 3 heroes dead, only 1 with buyback, and it's the one that's about to respawn. There's the glyph to try to buy time on this tier 3 tower, but Virtus.pro looking likely they'll be able to grab a lane of barracks. They're starting to back up a little bit.
They're focusing the range, too. Very patient here.
I think they're a little afraid of potential buybacks. They don't want to overcommit, playing very controlled here on the main stage, and they will back after grabbing that ranged barracks.
That is surprisingly reserved, considering that you know that there's no split, but I guess the Winner's Wyvern, or Winner Curse being down. But here's the problem, is that every single spell had to be flawless in this fight for it to work. Like, the Winner's Curse would have had to kill 1 hero. They needed a 2-man shackle, and the second that they blinked it from Soxa, that global silence got off. So they lose Fata right away, and then you have the shackle and the Windstorm Panda just same target. So 2 of your big disables used on just Roger, who then comes down and war cries and has like 36 armor and laughs at you.
Yeah, once that Scotty comes out onto the Terror Blade, so hard to get away in these spread out
here we go.
fights.
The slow-mo. The slow. Oh. Very nice.
VP very much in control right now. 13-7.
Oh,
it's not a big
quick
kill
pick.
score. They'll kill solo. That's nice. It's a little pick-me-up.
First one in a while there for old Soxa. Ace just doing his best to keep his bottom lane pushed out here. Has the Shadow Blade so he can play aggressively.
The mechanism was also completed on the Enigma in that last fight, so since he survived through the Winner's Curse, was able to heal up his team, and now he's upgraded those into full Guardian Greaves, so an even more difficult target to bring down.
Yeah, we've seen a pretty common trend in winning teams when it comes to itemization. It's a lot of auras.
We're seeing it
all
here.
of them. It's pretty great. So they're basically just missing the pipe. It's not even that important in this game, of course.
They're
Because
either going to have a Vlad's on the way.
Yeah, there you go. Get them all. Push for another lane here.
Some good old-fashioned 5-man Dota from Virtus.pro. They'll group up for this bottom tier 1. That will reset the glyph for the Dire at least, but
It's so team-based, right? Like, I mean, this Force Staff on the Dragonite, everything is just for the squad and honestly for Ramses. That's pretty much what we're playing for here, to make sure that his life is as easy as possible. And that's become the major trend of this tournament, is just protect the TB, protect the Morphling, protect the Arc Warden, let them carry us to victory here. And Ramses, well, he's pretty damn good at that.
just Feels like this Drow strat has not come together. VP already at the high ground. They've taken 2 towers, and they've taken this tier 3 to a 3rd HP. There's a winner's curse onto the Terrorblade. It's not going to be enough, though. The global comes out. The BKBs get popped. The black hole is used, and now the damage comes. Fata taking a lot of right clicks, but there's the cold embrace. They'll turn on to Pasha. Still feels like NiP are running low on resources as that Razor dies.
He's just standing there. They can't even kill him.
Nice shackle on 2. It might be enough to bring down Razor.
Where's the
Mind
Sunder?
control
He's
blinks
silenced.
in. They grab him, and Ramses can't Sunder. VP get repelled. 4 down.
All right, NiP refusing to go down quite yet.
Wow, what an incredible silence on that Terrorblade. Perfectly timed.
It's hard to believe that was a no buybacks fight, honestly. I mean, that long-range shackle from Sox, I finds a huge one there, allowing them to make sure that Roger can't just slip his way out of there with all those buffs going. And then, of course, as you said, the lack of the Sunder certainly hurting them there in that one.
And the cold embrace. That bought them so much time in that fight.
The cold embrace, and then the fact that they also just continue to tunnel vision onto it, like not able to find additional targets during the duration of it, too. They just kind of staunchly refuse to try and progress any further forward.
Let's take a look at the replay
I mean,
here.
it started out pretty bad, too, because Peter had the right idea. He was trying to get that curse off with the DK caught on, but this moment that he cast it, DK blinked out. The black hole was good to help target down Fada right away, but Fada's kind of course, he said gets cold embraced, and the Pandas still get out, too.
Yeah, they almost killed it. They killed the other 2, and the Earth Panda still lives. It looked like a good black hole, but catching the split and the BKB target actually made it far from ideal.
And still, like, mind control so close to that Earth Panda going down, comes right back out, and still gets some work done even when he's outside the ulti form to help clean up that fight. As long as you can keep that proper spacing on the Drow Ranger, of course, you can definitely still land a lot of damage. Fada's just like, yeah, I'm dying, but it's still worth it, guys. We're doing it.
Well, Trent, Ace is online now. This Drow Ranger has picked up a butterfly thanks to that fight and is now number 2 on net worth. Still 5K net worth behind Ramses on the Terrorblade, but Ace is starting to do some damage. If he can sit in the back line, it is scary. Although, speak of the devil, down bottom, they catch him with a dust. Pasha blinking over the trees as well. There's no BKB on this Drow Ranger, and she should be done for. Silence does connect on both. No way to TP, and no one will find credit for the kill.
Yeah, it's a very greedy build, of course, but it's what helped them to win that fight, just the overwhelming damage that he's providing because of the lack of the BKB. But now they're just going to keep slamming their faces into these racks. And all of these auras, all of these helpful itemizations like the Force Staff, gonna have to try and find the execution, and Peter's gonna have to try and find that good winner's curse. He still doesn't have the Lotus, so the global from Solo, still the big enemy here of NiP.
There's the winner's curse. Fada will pop his BKB. Nice shackle onto no one. That counter initiates onto the DK, but global silence is there, and Black Hole will connect on the Brewmaster. BKB will not be enough to get off the split. No buyback there as Sunder gets used, and Fata is brought low. Cold Embrace will buy him some time, but it won't be enough to keep him alive. They dive deep, trying to find this Winter Wyvern. They've got the stuns, they've got the damage, and now NiP in big trouble.
They don't have the buybacks.
Used by PPD, but the other 3 are locked in the grave. Drow Ranger not coming back to save this one, though she will be up in 10. Bottom barracks are killed.
There's no protection here, though, on mid. The heroes, there's still a lot of time.
They siege so fast here, Trent. That 10 seconds feels like an eternity. Megas could be inbound here as they focus the melee. They focus the range. There is still going to be the melee barracks standing up top, but the team already making moves. Still 2 in the grave.
Still waiting for that split. That's their best chance to fight. Now Pasha also silenced, but then grieves it.
Remember, no BKB on Ace, so these stuns are doing serious work. Roger making the space for his team to finish off the barracks, and that's going to be it. All the barracks down for NiP. They got to hold off Megas.
Oh, it's very difficult now. You start thinking about Aghanims on your Drow Ranger. Mjolnirs is an option potentially. No one's actually back in the base, maybe helping to quell some of these chases here.
Happy to throw his life away to save his Terrorblade.
Couldn't even consider a BKB TP as there was still the winner's curse too.
Another great black hole to counter initiate onto that Brewmaster. Heartbreaker for mind control.
Even if you had like 1 Rax left, you could maybe think about Roche right now for NiP, but I think it might just be a little bit too difficult with Megas. And they're even going to start scouting it out here as Ramses sends in the illusion. But hey, that's a little bit of free damage there for Fada. That might be enough to propel them into it. They're going to buy back Unknown, who still has the Dragon form too. And they're TPing into this pit right now.
I think NiP feeling like they have to do something crazy to turn this one around, and Roshan is definitely it. They forced the buyback already. Now they jump in onto the Enigma. Pasha has a BKB, but no black hole.
No
It's
buyback.
a good pick there.
That might be enough, but remember,
Creeps
it
are
is
coming
Megas. And they're still chasing. BKB, but no split for Mind Control. No TP either. Peter will be the one sent back to deal with the waves here. But again, the question remains, can you actually do anything about this Roche? And it seems highly unlikely for NiP.
Oh, they try to initiate onto Ramses. BKBs popped all around as the global silence comes through. Ramses now turning onto Fada. This Razor is not going to be able to handle it, and he gets brought down. Ace dies on the back line. No one getting repelled by Mind Control, but Saksa locked up on the high ground, and now Mind Control focused by Ramses. The big bad Terrorblade is here, and he is unrelenting.
Windra not going to be able to save you in the end there, and then to the pit they will go with a triple kill from Ramses, and buybacks used here for NiP just to try and hold back these creep waves, but now it's going to be Aegis and Cheese, along with all of these auras coming right back to finish off this game.
Yeah, certainly can't blame NiP for trying something like that in this scenario. Their back's up against the wall. They needed to take a fight out of their base, but it backfires. They have to burn several buybacks just to hold off the creeps. And now with the Aegis in the hands of Ramses, VP are charging right into enemy territory, looking to close this one out.
Oh, I mean, we already got ourselves that FYCK with the Aghanim Scepter. You know, this game goes a little longer. Roger with the eggs. Come on now, don't end it for us so soon, Virtus.pro. I think that might be their decision, though.
Yep, tier 4s taking some damage. There is a glyph now for NiP.
Showing no concerns about meta.
Still down for another 80 seconds. 2 heroes in the grave, no buybacks. Virtus.pro continuing to play very controlled, though. Getting these towers low, but not giving NiP an obvious moment to glyph.
Still another 30 seconds till the global silence is back up, but at this point, Peter has picked up the Lotus Orb, so they might be able to find the counterplay. Oh,
There's Curse again, sets up onto the Terrorblade, but will they have the damage to bring him down? Not even close. Ramsey's able to just walk away, as well, first tier 4 gets destroyed.
It's still 200 damage from him, though. So at the very least, that'll help drive them back off their towers. Unfortunately, the meta is still coming up.
Not for long, though. That static link damage about to expire. Not a single buyback available for NiP. Anyone that gets killed will be stuck in the grave as the second tier 4 falls. It's an exposed throne. VP just slowly chipping away with Ramses in the front line. Here it is, the black hole to close it out. Connects on 2 with a global silence to follow. They don't find the kills, but NiP are not even close to holding this one off. They'll lose the Razor. Ace now stunned up behind his throne. They're focusing objectives here, Trent.
Yeah, NiP, they're playing this one right to the end. They're going to let Throne go down, but go down it shall even after this glyph. There are just waves of creeps inside this base.
Yeah, too many siege creeps in the back line as well. The GG finally gets called, and it's VP that takes game 1 of this upper bracket series.
A bold pick. They opted for the Razor. And a nice little counter choice there in terms of the laning stage. Made sure that no one had himself a match, but in the end, the lanes didn't feel like they mattered all that much. Obviously, it came out even. No one got crazy ahead, and that seems to be favoring the lineup of Virtus.pro, but most importantly, how they played around this Terrorblade. I mean, you can just look back at this game, and you can see how many times they made sure that Ramses was going to have a pretty easy time in that one.
They had an absolutely clear game plan, so many auras, so many ways to take objectives, and as soon as they had that basic kit, they were ready to rock and roll, man. And once that pressure started, it never really stopped.
Yeah, now you start looking towards game 2. Have to try and find an answer. Terrorblade, Arc Warden, Morphling. I mean, can we let any of them through?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Let's send it back to our panel to hear what they think.
Thank you very much, Trent Zyori, your commentary team in this particular series. Of course, returning back there for game number 2. But Virtus.pro do take the opening game. They ground out a result in 37 minutes. In the end, 37 minutes exactly is what it took for NiP to be completely taken down. Now, gents, too cute in the draft from NiP?
Yes. I just think that I thought the draft was actually pretty even when it was 5 heroes from VP, 4 from NiP, and you pick a Razor, and that like just I just think that hero is absolute garbage. Like at least bottom 10. It would be hard for me to name them all off.
But if anyone could play it.
It is Fodden, exactly. And if he can't play it, then I don't know. It feels like we talked in the first series, we talked about outdrafting yourself, and that's what it felt like NiP did right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Timbersaw?
I feel like the main reason I had the issue, or like what I liked about the Razor, was it shut down the DK mid, and then VP just put Enigma mid.
Yeah.
So that was like a really good swap up from them, and I feel like when that happened, I was feeling pretty grim about my prediction, just because I thought the pace of the game would go in favor of the Drow team, but instead this Terrorblade's like #1 net worth pretty much all game, and just sometimes you have to blame it on something, and this time I'm blaming it on the fact that they swapped lanes. Timber probably would have worked out better because it does well against all 3 heroes in lane.
That was your call, wasn't it?
Timber pick?
You looked at it and went, this looks
Yeah,
like a great Timber game.
Nothing could kill Timber. It's amazing against so many of these heroes in lane. In the game as a whole, you've always got this great damage output, whereas Razor, it feels like you need to get the static link going, and as a frontliner is just struggling to stay alive in so many of these fights. I don't know if they win even with the Timber, because Enigma does have a lot of magic damage that makes it pretty hard to play into. Silence is annoying, so it wasn't like the perfect Timber game, but I think it would have been a safer pick for them.
And I guess Drow Wind Ranger, again, not. I mean, it is it's not comfort, but it is what we've seen them play an awful lot of, so you'd expect a good game from them, but we didn't see that in this either.
Yeah, it's almost could have worked. Like that Roche fight there, they were actually ahead 1k gold.
Yep.
They weren't really ahead as far as where the game was at, but if they get that Roche, get out unscathed, they maybe have a timing where the game could have looked a whole lot better for them.
I just think it's all a momentum thing. Like that's why I liked the DK pick for VP. Like, yeah, you have a Terrorblade, but that hero doesn't actually hit towers anymore. So I thought with the last pick Timber, what that gave them was the ability for NiP to like have the early towers, have the early map control, and instead they got their first tower like 14 minutes into the game or something. And I feel like with a Drow lineup against TB, if he's allowed to just farm the entire map, he's just going to outcarry you. And that's pretty much what happened.
That fight, that was when I was like, uh-oh, could they do it? Peter, though, with a clutch cold embrace, they get a good black hole, and they just kite him around. And this went into the Roche, right? And then they just lost that Roche fight. Like, losing the Roche fight lost them the game.
It was
like,
the
instantly.
DD's fault.
Yeah, that too.
Baited him into going for that Roche play. That was a sick play by no one, though. That was play of the game for sure. What he did was he walked near the Roche pit, and the smoke broke, so he knew they were in the Roche pit, and they immediately
and then he went back in.
Yeah, really smart play indeed, as we've come to expect from him. From Virtus.pro's point of view, again, they've got a result where I wouldn't say it didn't look likely early on, but they're not. It's not as clean as we're used to seeing from them, but they're still able to bring out these kind of results.
I think this was still pretty comfortable from start to finish, even though they.
I mean, they weren't a threat.
behind,
They weren't threatened losing this one, were they?
Yeah,
not really.
And the fact they showed they can go into a BO3 and beat NiP's Drow Ranger, which they'd previously just said, "Nah, let's just ban it." Makes it so much easier to draft for the rest of this BO3 because it's just a hero they're no longer afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like the secret in the first game with LGD, isn't it? You get given the Arc Warden. Puppy said that he expected they would pick it, so they had a plan for it, but in the end they get it, and then if you win with it and don't ban it in the second game, it's almost like, well, okay, but that doesn't make any sense now because you've lost to it. You theory crafted it for 5 days, you couldn't beat it, get rid of it, but you didn't, so we win 2-0. This is almost a similar kind of thing, isn't it? Where they go, yeah, but we still like the Drow because Virtus.pro aren't going to ban it now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Peter, though, I mean, obviously, because PSG LGD is missing their coach. He's at a wedding, apparently. And, I mean, I don't think Peter is going to do the same thing. It didn't work out. He is not going to try to, like, brute force it down their throat. I think it's just going to be, like, they're just going to try a new strategy.
If he had a redo, he'd probably be doing a first 2 Arc Warden instead,
I think so.
It's like at this point, okay, the Drow idea doesn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe plan B is the Arc
I
Warden.
mean, let's not forget he's got Ace in the team, who is well renowned for not just Arc Warden, but a whole bunch of cheesy stuff that he can play at a whim.
I'm pretty sure they like wanted them to pick Enigma. Drow's like usually pretty good against Enigma because it's like high pace, like lanes are always pushed out, so it's hard for Enigma to like, get the fight he wants. And I just feel like they wanted to give them the Enigma so that they could pick Drow. And like the Arc Warden has traditionally struggled in lane against Enigma because of the Eidolon soaking up the Spark Wraiths and the Q not really doing anything, the Flux. And I feel like they should just pick Arc Warden anyway. I feel like the laning stage is kind of whatever, This hero, if he gets in any space at all, he's just going to be the highest farmed hero in the game. And it's like, everyone else is just picking Terrorblade, they're picking Arc Warden, just pick these reliable carries. Drow's like, she's just gotten nerfed too much, I think.
Okay, thanks guys. More from BSJ, from Grant and from Gods after the break. When we return, we will have game number 2, or rather the draft will be upon us, and it's all to do as far as Ninjas in Pajamas are concerned. 1-0 Virtus.pro, we'll see you soon. The Ninjas versus the Bears continues here at the Kuala Lumpur Major, day one of the main event, the last 6 teams in action. And Virtus.pro versus Ninjas in Pajamas is underway. The first game, of course, going to the Virtus.pro squad. Game 2 just around the corner. The draft also just around the corner, which means we'll get some thoughts from our panel members once more. We're back with Grant, BSJ, and Gods. Gents, game 2. A little bit of a change here for NiP. Brian, what do you want to see from them in terms of that change?
And we said this about EG, I believe, on their first series, and just let's play some normal dotes. Don't pick Razor.
Straightforward, run of the mill, right in the middle of the meta.
Pick some broken carries that everyone else is picking, and
not drown.
Prove
but there's 4 now to choose from. Surely that makes it easier, right?
Yeah, I mean you got.
You like Slark. You like the Slark pick.
Hey, I liked it in theory. I liked it before it lost. And then it's kind of been a day where it's the meta carries against the non-meta carries.
I mean, look,
we like the Razor before it lost.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it worse or better than the Razor right now?
We were having that debate. I don't know. I feel like both heroes.
Slark was better.
Don't pick either.
I honestly think Slark had a chance to win that game. It's just even if you have a chance to win the game, it feels way harder to win the game. It's like Arc Warden just hit creeps all game, and you'll win. Slark played perfectly.
Yeah, but I agree. Just I think you go back to standard, get something like a PL. We haven't seen a PL at all today, and I think that's a pretty good hero versus a lot of these meta carries. So
I feel like everyone's leaning away from it. I wonder what they see that we don't.
It's been banned as well, though, isn't it? I mean, Secret banned it out first phase.
That's true.
Nobody's willing to first round it, though. So I guess they're too scared of the AoE offlaners that can just be counterpick, that can counterpick it.
Yep, definitely seems to have fallen down the pecking order, as ever happens at these events. Gods meta changes throughout it. Not just the group stage to the second part of the stage, but throughout the whole thing. I mean, Arc Warden hardly played at all in the groups.
It just came up out of nowhere. Then there's some heroes like maybe the Tiny that kind of fell off. Tiny used to be first ban, first pick material. Doesn't feel like it's the case as much anymore. A few teams still might, but yeah.
It's insane thinking that we're at the end of this very long patch that's been in existence, and we're still seeing iteration.
Yep. It's still some heroes and ideas that are unexplored. And it's kind of cyclical, where this new hero will suddenly come up like Arc Warden, and then the heroes that counter it will suddenly get stronger because it's like, well, it blocks this Arc Warden hero, and suddenly, a new meta kind of arises out of that.
I think what people underestimate, and I often get asked about, is that it's certain heroes are just pretty good, but they're bad against the most popular 5 heroes in the game. And suddenly, if you nerf 5-10 heroes in the game, it can just open up a ton of different heroes that nobody's thought of picking before. And that's what happened after TI. We didn't see any buffs. We saw some of the most meta heroes get nerfed, and that leads to pretty much a whole new meta, just because heroes that were previously unpickable because of those 5 are now good.
No seeing the Wisp, though. That continues to have a 100% pick ban rate.
Wow.
Okay.
They're going to stick with it.
I actually don't.
So?
I don't mind it. Just don't. As long as you don't have a Razor as your last pick, I actually think it's completely fine.
Up until the last pick, I think.
I really do. I thought it was a very, very even draft. And then it was like, how do you pick a hero and lose your advantage in a draft? It's usually not how it should go.
With the Bane banned, what do you pick against the Axe? Do you have to pick a melee hero here? Something to shut it down? Follow it around? I feel like that's what a lot of teams have been doing.
Get the Undying first, too. Maybe something they're considering. Drow Undying. They're going to stick with the Wind Ranger. It's nice because you're not picking a core, revealing 2 cores in the opening picks, and it gives you a Drow partner who benefits from the aura.
This is if it ain't worked, don't change it, don't fix it.
Something like that.
There's some quote somewhere in there. Yeah.
I've kind of forgotten what that quote was.
I don't know. I think Sox, he's shown, though, he will get farm, and he will be able to, he's one of the few 4s who can, just take over a game, not with, an Enigma Black Hole, but, just go and carry items on a hero like this, and I don't think he was any part of the problem, so.
VP is a team who'll just stick with what works often, but will decide to pick Phoenix instead this game, so no TB.
Some bad news for that guy with the flag. There's a new logo.
Oh, yeah, so you guys like it? I like the new VP logo. Looks nice. You guys seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a bear with a V on it, and I just thought the old one was a bear with a V in it. But
yeah.
Okay, I could be wrong. No hate intended. It's fine. It's just it doesn't.
I'm happy to see their old colors come back.
Yes.
Yeah, the old
for
colors.
sure.
Yeah.
Get rid of the green.
Sure.
We want that. The orange and black that is just so iconic for VP.
Do you know that's weird though? Because if you go right back to Virtus.pro's origins, It was the color of the Russian flag.
The original VP. Okay. Huh.
Trip down
There
in
we go.
history
I'm
of
learning.
Dota
That's
2,
a
yeah.
long time back. We're talking back in the days of Counter-Strike 1.6.
Virtus.pro
It's weird saying that
return
now.
to battle.
No Terrorblade, no.
Ban out some of these carries. Yeah, TB. Maybe I wonder they're going to be wondering about the Arc Warden too. Does Ramses play the hero?
Based on the way they're picking, and
Doesn't seem like it.
yeah, I think they are assuming he does not.
Interesting that Phoenix gets first two'd. I feel like Drow strats and these range right clickers are generally pretty good at killing Supernova eggs.
5 seconds.
I mean, we always talk about it's like heavy team fight, but that level, the first level of egg, like isn't even a team fight ability. Like it actually just dies to like a fly could land on it and just explodes.
You can land your fire spirits, and all you need is like 2 right clicks from Drow,
That's
2
it,
from
yeah.
Wind Ranger, and 1 from some random melee hero.
The thing I wonder is like, is Wind Ranger or Mirana like an actual lane? Like, you know, you think of all the egg hitters, they ban out the Lina and the Huskar. It's like the only
Yeah.
one left is Mirana.
I think they'd have to run the Mirana as a mid for Fata.
Yeah, maybe.
And he likes playing it, so it'd be fine if they did do that.
Seems like a weak last pick though, so you'd like have to pick a third, and then in the last picking like mind controls hero or something. I don't know. Like it,
5 seconds.
none of that
remaining.
feels like.
We've seen a lot of last pick Maranas, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Yep. TB banned.
Had
in this
nothing
one.
better to pick.
Yeah.
Huskar Lena banned by Virtus.pro. Morphling still in the pool.
Yeah, the Morphers to Drow is a bit rough, as BSJ said last draft. PL, there's the carry
It's
of
almost
the,
certainly Mirana. Oh, they go down a dying third pick. Okay.
I don't know if they want to grab Mirana necessarily.
I just don't know what else you pick that like warrants
just
the Drow. I guess you said they've
Get
done
that
the
mind
3
control
melee
hero. Get like another Brewmaster type hero even. Then you have a way to, throw the axe up in the air, for example. But they get an axe counter of sorts with the Undying pick.
10 seconds.
This gives them a bit more team fight to work around as well.
I had the best win rate here.
There's very few supports that actually work with Drow. Like, she usually just needs someone to stand in front of her, otherwise she gets ran at all laning stage, so Undying is one of the premier ones.
Am I going mad, or did I see a lot of CMs with the Drow in the qualifiers?
It was like 2 different teams picked it like every game.
It was,
And
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was I know Secret picked it quite a few
Yeah.
times as well.
How did it work out? Like, they landed them together?
They would just
Yeah, they were in the-
he would
literally
deward
in the same
and
lane.
he would just deward the pull and just pull.
Oh,
Like he
yeah.
would play like a very normal lane, just get the counter ward, pull the lane, and then Drow's getting farm under the tower. They would like TP their other support to protect her under the tower.
Okay, okay.
Seems like something that Axe would have a field day with and just love versing a Drow CM lane.
You can't have a diveable support against Axe, especially Phoenix, too.
I mean, they're going to run this win run of Undying as their pair supports anyway. Dazzle on the other side.
All that armor, too, from Weave.
And it's been played as a core, but
Oh,
there's
there it
Mirana.
is.
Apparently not. There's the Mirana.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's just not like doesn't just stand out. It's gonna be just weird in the laning phase. Because now they have to assume it's middle if you're VP. Like they will get the counter pick on this Mirana.
I think the way you can run it offlane is if you're getting like a tanky mid like a DK or something. DK is kind of that like tanky frontliner that also does benefit from the Drow aura when you're in your ulti form.
What carries are left that actually can lane against a dual ranged Drow or a buffed offlane? That seems pretty scary. We'll see what they come up with. Oh, of course.
Yeah, Brian.
Two slugs in
I
one
thought
day.
you were like, what are you doing? I thought this was okay. This feels like a cocky pick to me. Like
I mean, it's actually a really good
it's very
game.
good versus Drow. It's very good versus Mirana because she can't leap out of the pounce. It owns the tombstone. Usually melee heroes don't. I mean, it is, but Slark is a hero. Sorry, BSJ. It's not the best.
This is way better than earlier,
This is.
though. Like,
This is
earlier,
very
he was against a Shadow Demon and Lion, both of which have disables that go through
Yeah.
Dark Pact. So it's, like, in this game at least, he has no stopping him right now, no natural Hex builder.
What kind of? I mean, that means you need a core. What core would round out NiP that counters Slark?
Core Lion.
Bring back the Dandy 2008. Just do it.
That's an idea. I
Core-
actually
Core
don't see
Shaman,
anything
that's
that
actually is a
Core
core hero.
Shaman. Okay, Core Shaman.
That pushes Drow strat with Core Shaman, you know?
Honestly, I don't know if we're I mean, it doesn't sound. You might as well just go all in, right? Like
Yeah.
they did with the Razor. I'd take a Rost over a Razor.
I think you could do something like a Kunkka too. That was the last pick that Secret utilized against Slark.
What I would love to see is an OD. I know we hate that hero, but it's so good against Slark, so good against Dazzle, so good against Axe.
Yeah, but is it 200 men or 250 for the orb?
It's
The
only
mana
180, I
cost.
think, max
It's 180. Oh, okay. Only 180.
Only
God,
180. You know, if they're gonna whip out creative picks, you
It's
know,
true.
that would be the one I would think of. Just like there's not very many ranged heroes that counter Slark. If they want to go that route, they could just go like the tanky builder.
Maybe.
Yeah, really good against Murano. And you don't want to give them the ocean themed lineup either. Kunkka and the Slark.
So do you think? I mean, I'm still wondering. So NiP, I still think it's the Mirana middle, or do you guys think it'll be the like Mirana Wind Ranger off lane with the Drow Aura?
Mirana Wind Ranger doesn't sound like a amazing lane.
No. Sounds like they're getting each other's way.
Are they just refusing to brood mother, by the way, on VP? Is that like Dazzle Brood's pretty strong? You can like heal bomb the spiders.
Part of it is they're picking these heroes that Ramses typically plays. Like last game was a TB. If you want to pick, because he's also the brood player.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pasha can. He plays like out of the off lane, but no one is not a
There's
Slark
not a no
player.
one
He's
here,
not a
yeah.
TB player. He's not a brood player. So I think it is maybe a limitation.
Just give no one the axe, whatever.
Do you think it could be a core Phoenix? That's something VP have done quite a bit of.
I think they usually do that when like Solo plays the axe though, but he's gonna definitely be playing Dazzle this game.
Yeah, the Dazzle securing Slark's lane makes sense there.
They could just go DK again, honestly. Just any high armor tanky heroes that get in your face are good against the Drow lineups.
It seems VP just likes picking those where like at a certain minute in the game they don't take damage in team fights.
They have no tower pressure either. Yeah, they just go DK again. Okay.
It's fine.
OD looks even better, man.
I mean,
If they pick that hero, BSJ, you're a god.
if they pick it, I don't know if it's the right pick, but
Let's pick Razor again, guys.
I mean, Razor versus Slark and DK is and Axe. I mean, no matter what, you get a guaranteed lane where you're going to get it off. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it, but
They're gonna do it, man.
they might.
Outworld Devour coming in hot.
I think if they OD or Razor, no. I actually don't know what they pick. I'm trying to think.
They honestly could just Storm. It's actually a really good Storm. Kind of mediocre against DK.
Yeah, like one of those heroes that does do well against those elusive cores.
And like DK Axe can really get on top.
Yeah, if they don't pick OD, that means that hero's unpickable. This is like the best OD game in history. There you go, Timber.
This time they do.
I like this.
Okay.
It's not as good this game, but it's still very good.
I feel like it was better last game.
I absolutely agree. I still think it's very good, but
It doesn't actually beat DK in lane. It free farms, but DK will have a fine start. The thing about Timber is he just makes it hard for DK to actually apply any tower pressure because he'll just follow you wherever you go.
well, and it is going to be the Wind Ranger Mirana lane. It looks like with who's playing what, and I'll be curious to see. I mean, it is a ton of damage output with that Drow Aura, so it's just if they get harassed out of lane early, it could be curtains.
I think they're gonna dodge. I think they'll put Slark bottom or top. I mean,
All right, well, I just like VP's draft. It's a lot more simple to execute. They have better team fight. They have a DK who can just frontline. They just won't take damage again with Dazzle, DK Axe, Phoenix backing him up.
How does Timber die, though, this game? Last game, there was an Enigma. This game, what's going to kill Fata?
Slark actually benefits from heroes that don't want to die.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with VP too. Sorry, Gran. It doesn't look good for you, but
Well, stop now.
I feel like Slark last game like almost won or the previous series, and it was a hard Slark game. I actually feel like this is about as good of a Slark game as it gets, as long as he gets out of the first 5 minutes.
I think VP's going to 2-0 as well. So we're full on caster panel curse this one.
All right. Okay.
So NiP has a good chance.
All three of them on the Virtus.pro train then in game number 2. Are they going to wrap things up? A question we'll pose to our commentators because they are ready to guide you through game number 2. Gents, it's a clean sweep over here. Are you in agreement or not?
I'd love to disagree with the panel. It seems like a good Timber game, but if there are two supports that can make Slark work, it's Dazzle and it's Phoenix.
I don't know. Maybe if there's anything that can let NiP win, it's a panel curse because PPD just can't beat Virtus.pro. It's been a long-standing problem for him. We'll see if this one can finally do it, Paul.
Yeah, that's the other curse to try and break, isn't it? Good luck, gents. Enjoy game 2.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Timber, that's my question here.
Timber?
Can he do it? I mean, the hero, he needs a great start, but I mean, Drow lineups in general need a good start anyway, so they're hoping for the whole lineup to get things going, but you heard BSJ say the first 5 minutes for Slark, most important thing, and he knows that little fish man better than anyone.
Exactly right. He was on the edge of his seat during that first Slark pick we saw today, and very surprised to see Slark picked up, not even to counter the Arc Warden VP, hoping just to show the merits of this hero. And I really do think Dazzle is one of the best supports to pair with a hero like this because his early laning phase is so brutal. Dazzle actually has a way to keep him alive.
Yeah, Solo's just looked absolutely fantastic on this hero.
Yeah.
The past couple months here. So good at zoning people out, using that poison touch. He's already got it rocking and ready to go here as Ramses will take the first bits of harass here from mind control.
And already a tip comes out from Ramses and back and forth, showing a
there's been
good
some
sign.
all chat back and forth, you know, Ramses Team Liquid here. So they're enjoying themselves here on the main stage in Malaysia.
Absolutely. Bounty is looking to be an even spread per usual here. Trent 2 apiece as NiP grab the South 2 and Virtus.pro secure both up top.
When you have questions about how the lane's going to go, you've always got a couple heroes that can try and interrupt the normal balance of things, and Axe is probably the best one. I mean, Timbersaw, sure, he's like very irritating, gets level 3, so you can't kill him, but Pasha is just looking to take the laning stage out of the equation and just force Drow to play under the tower. How can you play aggressive in an Undying if you just have to fight in creep waves the whole time?
Yep. So it will settle down into dual lanes here. This mid will be Fata versus no one. PPD's already rotated up top. You can't see it on the split screen, but Pasha is cutting this wave already, putting things in favor of VP up top.
I love the tri lane. It's just like, wait a second, where's this lane? Where's Peter going? Oh, there he is.
Down bottom, mind control, caught by a pounce.
Yep, the big counter. But a shackle from Sox will keep him safe. So when it comes to this idea of the Mirana versus the Slark, I mean, this is a nice lane matchup for him. When that off-lane Mirana was at its like peak of popularity, Slark actually saw a slight resurgence just because of how strong the pounce is there. And
yeah, look at
Solo. The power of this Dazzle, man.
Level 1 poison touch, it's nasty. And Slark definitely has issues getting on people. That's where he wants to be, stacking up that essence shift. Poison touch just makes it even easier. Up top, we'll see some ring around the Rosie. Pasha trying to pull these creeps around. PPD in hot pursuit.
Here's the weird thing about this Undying thing. It's like you keep getting these decay stacks, and you're like, okay, look, he's only got 400 health, but that doesn't change any of the impact of the creep damage because of the way the block works.
Well, Solo will get punished for that aggressive posture down bottom. Saxa securing the kill there. And now we're going to see this little skirmish break out. PPD versus Pasha. So far, so good for the Axe. He's gotten a lot of spins against these creeps. PPD not going to go down, but can't really stop Pasha from doing this.
Yeah, getting a little unlucky there, I would even say, on the spins. I honestly feel like PPD might have mathematically died there.
So what do we expect out of this mid lane, Trent? DK versus Timbersaw. I'm thinking it's going to be mostly a farm fest, at least until level 6 comes out.
Yeah, I would say the Timber's actually doing quite well to start things off here. Like, you don't have too much damage. You have to commit to the Quelling Blade, but you're just fighting Whirling Death versus the Breathe Fire. Pretty even stuff there, 100 versus 90. So life's good, as you said. Farm fest.
Not too often you'll see a mid lane like that with virtually no denies. No one picks up his first here.
Now Ace in a bit of a pickle here. He's actually been zoned off his tower too. He's like stuck in behind, but Roger maybe not sure where that Undying is, so he's a little bit hesitant to pressure fully.
And the Drow Ranger definitely struggling to secure these last hits under the tower. PPD opting just to rotate mid now to pressure no one a little bit. Feeling like he can't really do much to stop this Axe. Pasha now farming the jungle as well as the neutrals. Everything going his way.
Gives him the tip like, oh, so you're going to come to my lane. Well, you know, I picked this Axe. He just disrupts the flow of the top, so this is your choice here. Well, Ace will join him.
Yeah, we've got 3 heroes mid, but not for long. Fata, he'll just TP up top. NiP pulling the full lane swap to try to get some farm on this precious Drow Ranger.
Right, it makes sense, right? Who would you rather have farming under a tower, a Timbersaw or a Drow?
Yeah.
But in the end, the unfortunate thing is that Pasha is getting complete and utter free farm, and he accelerates faster than you because he farms the jungle camps at the exact same time.
Yep.
But the question and the problem we've seen from some of these axes is actually taking this gold and having an impact further in the game.
Roger taking a lot of damage up top. Fata unrelenting as he timber chains forward. Almost finishes off Roger, though he is able to heal up. Timber chain across will secure the kill. And that level 4 Timbersaw with a little more money under his belt.
Yeah, a couple of nices there from Fata as he grabs that one. In lane versus a strength hero always feels good as a Timbersaw. So he's happy with that match, but now he gets a little bit of jungle action to himself.
But on that note about Pasha, you're absolutely right. We've seen some axes get a start like this and then sort of fall flat into the mid game. He is going to go for the Vanguard first.
Solo again. I mean, he has to play so aggressive here, so it's understandable why this keeps happening.
Still a tough lane for Ramses.
PPD.
Level 3. We'll see PPD now. Gets bumped into Roger and no one. Double damage rune on the Phoenix makes it an easy kill. Roger getting some vengeance.
It's actually surprisingly going to be the first kill there for VP.
Uh-oh, Ramses. He's going to take a tumble down bottom. There's a little too much burst damage for the Fishman to handle. But now back mid, VP with a rotation. Ace gonna bump right into the axe. Berserker's call. Plenty of follow-up damage. PPD will TP in with a soul rip, but it's not gonna be enough to keep the Drow alive as Pasha secures the kill with the Culling Blade.
Yeah, Soxa's coming through. He's got 2 points in the power shot, but doesn't look like he can find the damage. We've got ourselves a little bit of a replay there. Just catch up on what happened in the bottom lane while we were checking up top. There's a nice little shackle setup into an arrow for the secure onto Solo for the first blood there.
Yeah, great combo.
Look at production. Helping us out there when we're missing things. Thanks, guys.
Well, NiP with the slight advantage coming out of this laning phase. Axe doing very well, but the other two cores on VP certainly not having a nice laning phase. Down bottom, Ramses gets shackled but falls again. It's just too much damage with this off lane. 5-2.
Okay, I mean, the Slark certainly works when you can play really aggressively, but I think just even with it only being 8 damage, it definitely adds up between 2 ranged heroes, and the Wind Ranger is not a very easy kill target, so although they can try and focus down something like Mind Control and you can't leap away, I think Sox is just helping them stay way too low to actually get aggressive onto Mind Control, and that means Ramsey just keeps on falling. And it's certainly one of those snowballing effects. Like, he just went down again, no TP available, so 10 more seconds, so he's losing out on so much time.
Yep. This is that window where Slark is just counting the seconds until he can find his level 6. Meanwhile, up top, Pasha and Fata having a bit of a battle. Pasha bringing him down pretty low. The Timber Chain not going to take Fata too far, but not going to get him in the threshold for the Culling Blade. Forces a TP from Soxa and will head back, although kind of doubles back into the lane and will repel the Wind Ranger after all.
Yeah, not enough mana to create a turnaround there on the Fatas as Arcanes. We're still on CD, so he'll just patiently go back to the farming life, but once again, Pasha's just always trading better than you, right? 70 last hits at this point, almost doubling up on the Timbersaw simply because of adding on these jungle creeps every single time.
Bottom lane, see the rotation. Nice leap from Mind Control. Actually dodges the pounce. Solo and Roger will still pursue, but it's a haste rune on the Mirana that was tucked away in the bottle.
Flap
so they
those
won't be
wings,
able to
baby.
It.
That is not right. I'd have to agree, Solo. Something doesn't look quite correct there.
It's a dazzling death, my friend. No one doing pretty well in the mid. Number 4 overall in net worth, about even with the Mirana. Is level 7 now. Back down bottom, pursuit onto Roger.
Oh, Pasha takes some tower shots here in the mid lane. He's trying to get aggressive onto Ace, but yeah, Roger takes both shots there. Ramses will start to intercept, perhaps worried about the arrow coming back soon.
Shackle does latch onto Solo. The level 4 Dazzle has Shallow Grave now, so maybe things a little bit easier for Ramses if he gets caught overextended. He is also closing in on his level 6.
So it's a tri lane in the bottom. That means they're going to try a little bit of aggression on Noah, but he just stands completely tall and tanks these last hits. Yeah. Feels like nothing coming from NiP right now.
Double Bracer, 2 points in Dragon Blood, as DK is pretty tanky.
Meanwhile, Ramses is just trying to hope that his supports can stay far enough away for the moment so he can try and get to level 6. Salving up now, too, even. Really wants that Shadow Dance. Perhaps we'll see a rotation,
Pasha,
too.
He finds a courier. That's going to be a
nice
misplay from Fata there as he just flies it straight overhead.
We've seen that a shocking amount of times, these axes.
It's an easy kill with that Culling Blade.
Oh, Shackle now.
Sets up the arrow. Shallow Grave, not going to save you this time, Solo. Soxa gets another.
And now they've even brought Peter down here, too. He's level 3, but he still has a 1/1/1, so all his options available here. They might commit the Tombstone, just try and force this down, get Ramses away from XP range, and
Ramses in some trouble. He does pounce onto PPD, but another Shackle. Solo's there with the Shallow Grave in time. They're going to try to finish off the Tombstone. They'll get it.
He's
but
so
Ramses
close to 6.
just shy of level 6, will not survive. Perfectly timed gank for NiP. They are going to lose PPD, it looks like. Moonlight Shadow, the Berserker's Call falls a little bit short, but Battle Hunger will do the trick.
In the mid lane, they're going to grab the kill onto Roger, as well as Ace burning down.
and a tier 1 tower that will get finished off by no one. So a victory for VP there in the mid lane.
Oh, but right back
down
to the
bottom.
bottom.
The shackle into Arrow. Easy stuff for Soxa, but Pasha with the counter initiation jumps in onto mind control. One last leap will take him back to safety.
Well, not the way he's hoping to start with the Blink Dagger. His mind control will once again slip away here, even trying to hold his wand charges. Looks like he'll be successful in that endeavor too, but at the very least, Ramses has found himself that level 6 up top.
Even though this Slark has been struggling, the Drow Ranger really hasn't had a much better experience. She's only a couple hundred net worth ahead of him, now relegated into the jungle. Got the marksmanship a little bit quicker than last game, but still not really the dream start for the squishy Ranger.
So now this will become the battle of Fada versus Pasha. See who can transition their laning stage into an actual impact in this game. I think this Timbersaw, like, if you're not playing in between the tier 1 and the tier 2, I feel like you're not having the best game. Like, he got forced in a situation where he's like tanking under a tower. Honestly, a Spectre can do that, you know? That doesn't feel too good when that's what you're making use of your Timbersaw for.
Yeah, absolutely. 10-minute bounty is around the corner. Mind control, we'll be able to grab one. We'll see Pasha skirmishing down here. He does pick up the rune, but takes a lot of damage in return. Berserker's Call connects onto the Timbersaw. Now Soxa rotating over. No latch on the shackle. Pasha still goes down. Shallow Grave does not come out in time. Now Solo
stuff.
on the run will be silenced. He's going to go down as well. A double for Ace. No one pops the Dragon Form, trying to put some damage into Fata, but can they actually find this kill? Roger's only level 4 here. They do manage to get Fata after all.
Not sure if he had a stick on the courier or something, but the lack of that for a Timber really hurting him.
There's a Supernova, but not what you want to use against the Wind Ranger. However, Soxa will have to run away as no one is in pursuit. There was a Dragon Tail available.
They did get the big kills that they needed, no question about that. Unfortunately, in the end, it'll still be a loss of gold there for the Timbersaw. Now he is transitioning some of his own net worth essentially onto the Drow by getting those picks for Ace, but
PPD in some trouble here, Trent. Berserker's Call is available. They've got a Dust for the Moonlight Shadow. Arrow flies through, but it will split the 9s and not connect.
maybe trying to break things up there to help him, but not going to be there in time.
Radiance queued up for this Dragon Knight.
It's a Drow Ranger strat. You always want the Radiance if you can, but good shackle there. Quite the angle onto Roger.
Yep, no Supernova, and he'll go down. I don't know if Supernova would have been enough to save him anyhow.
I'd hope not. That would be a little ridiculous.
Still a very tight game here as Pasha bumps into mind control in the jungle. Does not have any reinforcements nearby, so this will have to be a solo kill. Gets the Mirana low, but stick charges pick her right back up, and now the turn back the other way. Some zombies chasing him down. Arrow off the mark, but they will not pursue. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ramsey is actually able to push in that tower.
That's a pretty big win for a Slark like that. Like, not typically the hero you imagine solo pushing a tower, but all that space made by Pasha. He is having an impact here with those early waves that he stole from the side of NiP with very little recourse.
Definitely making decent progress towards that Shadow Blade. Always the key item that Slark needs to really come online, start hunting around the map, and have a semblance of a threatening
Solo
presence.
maybe thinking about denying down here. I don't know, the star's pretty low.
32 HP.
Sox is going to come in for this one as they will find mind control, but yeah, Soxa gets it.
Very
Nice attempt, but not going to happen.
And now no one might be in some trouble. Fata jumps forward. Solo does have a level 2 Shadow Wave and heals him back up. It's Soxa that's low, trying to make it into the tree line. They'll reset the Poison Touch, and the damage over time should be enough. He'll fall. Fata still putting a lot of damage into no one. The Weave now utilized to try to squish up this reactive armor. Pasha catches him with the Berserker's Call. Will they be able to finish off this Timbersaw, though? They stun him during the chain, but now Ace joining the party. Phoenix not able to get off the Supernova, and he goes down. Still a 1-for-2 favoring Virtus.pro, but NiP do get a pick-me-up.
Yeah, they grab the blink cancel there onto Pasha to stop the chase, but now it's Ramsey's coming through too.
He catches 2. A perfect setup, and Ramses jumps into the backline on Ace. NiP in big trouble. They've lost mind control. They'll lose Ace and PPD trying to find an escape in the trees.
Coming on through. There's no stopping the pain train. Peter just hoping to, he's actually going to find his way through there with that last tango.
All right.
One in the tank will juke the side of Virtus.pro.
Moral victory for NiP, but
indeed, that's about the only one.
yeah, Virtus.pro feeling very strong right now. Still a pretty small lead, only about 1K net worth, but asserting their dominance. And more importantly, making precious space for this Slark.
Fada never even ended up getting his items off that courier. After it died, too, he's just like sitting like a raindrop. Got a bunch of clarities and a mango and stuff, too. But I really feel like he's missing a wand, too. Like, he's been definitely engaging and battling. Feels like he just runs out of gas, and that's the end of it. Not feeling Timber in this game.
Yeah, they've done a good job preventing him from just taking over. As we mentioned, both Fada and Pasha had really good starts, and definitely seems like Pasha is the one that's using that momentum to propel his team forward.
He has a good hero pairing, though, with the Mirana, right? Like, this hero's also ready to start playing very aggressively, even if she only has a Staff of Wizardry. But the side of Virtus.pro, well read here.
Yeah, not often you'll see Mirana's forced into a Yule's Scepter, but feels like a pretty key item against Slark. If you get caught by that pounce otherwise, you're in big trouble. Drow Ranger also looking for her Shadow Blade. Though a little bit behind the Slark, as she did stop off for that Dragon Lance first. Ramses. Gonna head back to friendly territory here. Not gonna put that Invis Rune to good use. Moonlight Shadow on the other side. Sentry Ward down. Pasha catches Fata. Roger and Solo nearby, but a little bit light on lockdown. There's the Supernova. Fata able to Timber Chain away, but it's so much damage over time. They do have a dust, but can they close the gap?
He needs a big blink here from Pasha. Will he find him in the tree line? Oh,
Almost.
he hesitates.
So close for Pasha, but Fata will live.
All right, there we go. Some impact from the Timber now, drawing all that attention, trying to create some space across the map. Of course, wherever Timber is, you can pretty much guarantee Ace will be on the opposite side, and they have picked off no one. And of course, we'll slow down any build-up towards that Radiance that he's thinking about.
Still great farm on this Dragon Knight. Second on net worth overall.
Doubt. What worries me the most, though, is that if this Timber, like, you've kind of heard the panel talking about it, but if the Timber's not scary, he's just a meat bag for Slark. Like, he's going to hit so many stacks off of him.
Right.
And I just feel like at this point, like, when this Bloodstone comes out, they're going to have to find some marvelous fights for NiP. Or it's just going to be this dead item that just puts them even further into a depression here versus Virtus.pro.
It feels like the right item, but a risky one. If you can't take that fight, oh, nice pickup from Pasha. Just an illusion rune, but still a nice play.
Yeah, it's great on X. Cut some waves, get some free gold.
True.
Once again, Sox will be going for this kind of farming, trying to transition into a core build. Getting in towards that Maelstrom very shortly here.
Seems like he always finds a lot of farm on this hero, even in games like this where his team is doing a pretty good job soaking up the jungle and the lanes.
I mean, he's got like 40 last hits too, though, so it kind of shows that he's being given some space that could be going to other cores. Like, he's right alongside the Timbersaw and the Mirana, so on the one hand, it's kind of nice to have this like little block of heroes, but only really works if you're engaging and actively making use of this like earlier net worth. Otherwise, it feels like it's just slowing down Timbersaw, who's trying to find that explosive moment.
Things taking a slightly more passive turn here as both sides try to farm up this first round of core items. The Shadow Blade now out on the Slark. We'll see the Echo Saber queued up next.
These fights are, I feel like this fight's going to be absolutely brutal with the Radiance. I feel like VP are going to absolutely crash them.
Yeah, the Relic's already out and only 1,000 gold to go for no one. Down bottom, Ramses bumps into Fada, forces out a Moonlight Shadow. NiP perhaps thinking that Virtus.pro were looking for a bigger rotation, but it's just a Slark.
It's going to be very taxing on poor Solo here. I mean, he's done this plenty of times. He spends so much gold on sentries, and he has no GPM time. I mean, look at this bottom area. My God.
Yep. Big Ancient stack here for no one. Looks like a triple stack that is, as he clears it out. That's pretty much going to be the Radiance gold right there.
Got to get some assistance from this GPM Phoenix in a minute here. As Roger's at least almost at 10. He'll be picking up the Spirit Vessel very shortly, too. And another thing that's like Fada, again, he's looking towards a Bloodstone first, and then he's going to get Spirit Vessel. And do you think that's going to feel very good as a Timbersaw? I don't think so.
Nope. The Shadow Blade now also up on the Drow Ranger. Looking to upgrade that Dragon Lance into a Hurricane Pike as well. The farm is still pretty even, though it's 15 to 10, but it just feels like Virtus.pro are the ones kind of setting the tempo, and they'll be the aggressors once these items are picked up. There's the Blade Mail now on the Axe. They're getting close to hunting season.
I think I'm looking towards the supports and allies engagements too, kind of like the placement of the egg versus the placement of the tombstone. I think if either of those are essentially perfect from those supports, they can kind of win these fights for their team. They're relatively well mirrored here, but Solo, he's the one up front. Again, another sentry down. It does spot Ace. And 9th one's the charm here in this bottom area.
Yep, that's pretty much your Shadow Blade reveal right there.
At the same time, Dire have a sentry down too, so they've spotted the advancement of Ramses, and everyone knows they're just playing around here. And it's Soxa who's the little victor, right? He's pushing the wave all the way to the tower. Life's good. No fights are actually popping off down bottom.
Yep, DKB coming out next for him. Virtus.pro starting to push forward. Pasha thinking about the opening, but who's he going to find?
There's the Radiance now.
It's been delivered, completed. No one drops the stun onto Fata. Also putting a lot of damage into that tier 1 tower.
He wants to just force a bad tombstone, but just like throwing out a stun like that. See if they commit for the fight, and then he's going to be backed up by a grave here. They can counter-initiate with the egg. No one wants to be the first mover, really.
Sidesteps the arrow, and on the other side, PPD caught by the Berserker's Call.
That arrow hitting Roger, though, means there's no counterplay yet.
There's the grave. It's going to keep the Phoenix alive. PPD with a soul rip. He'll also survive, but the tombstone won't be so lucky. They force out a supernova. The bottom tier 1 goes down, but Soxa secures a tier 1 in the mid lane, making it an okay trade for NiP.
Yeah, Solo just has to say, guys, I'm out of sentries. There's no more left in the inventory here. Please, we got it back.
The Moonlight Shadow has been deployed. Ramses able to survive against the Timbersaw. Double damage rune picked up by Ace. Not sure what he'll be able to do with it, though.
Okay, Fata, it's time. Get himself in towards that hood, and then he's ready to battle with this Bloodstone. Try and build up those charges, increase his farm speed. See if he can be the big carry that his team needs. So this is the Bloodstone Smoke, a classic, and he'll take any free target. Roche also, again, oh my god, it was a DD in the last one that baited them in, but this time we'll see how well it goes. As in the bottom lane, it's Pasha and Mind Control also duking things out.
VP not in the best position to try to deal with this. Pasha does not get the Berserker's Call, but on the other side, Phoenix is breaking up this Roshan attempt.
Yeah,
they'll kill Solo. Roger
There's
does get caught on the other side, and it's 2.
That's a double kill. 16 charges for Fata. He wants the chase down here.
VP does pull him out of the Roche pit, though. He's still standing, and now they catch Mind Control. He's got the Yule Scepter, but won't even be able to use it. Berserker's Call secures the kill. 2 down on each side. This risky play from NiP has not worked out yet. Now a buyback comes from Mind Control.
Okay, a buyback here. I mean, the Phoenix didn't have the egg. It's coming in 20 seconds. I don't know if they can get back in here in time. It's very low, but Virtus.pro have also not really committed for this. They know the Tombstone's still up. They still have an idea of what's going on in the pit.
They do have an Elder Dragon form available on No One.
Fata getting the free stacks here from Roche in case there's a fight.
Value. NiP backing up. It's definitely the right call. They cannot charge head-on into the pit.
Feels like a painful buyback from Mind Control, though. Of course, they still have to control the area. It's understandable, but you know you really want to try and secure these things when you have to go for it. So they still continue to hold the high ground. They have the Moonlight Shadow. And Fata's going to scout out this pit now.
Sentry wards coming down. Both sides have a lot of vision here. Phoenix will use the egg to try to buy some time. They need to make a big decision as Pasha catches one with the Berserker's Call. Roche goes down, picked up by Ramses. They kill the Drow Ranger. Immediate buyback. They do get a counter kill. Oh, nope. Solo with the grave. He survives. VP.
They get the Tombstone. He's going to live. Power shot misses too, but they're going to find Ramses.
Or are they? Pasha jumps in with a beautiful Berserker's Call. Pasha, is he going to be able to finish these kills off, though? Ace trying to make it out, and down they go. A triple kill for No One. Fata will deny himself. Now PPD gets left behind, and the ultra kill is secured. It was a chaotic fight, but Virtus.pro find the better of it. They get the Roche, they get the kills. Diebacks on top of that. The economy of NiP now crippled.
No, look at the damage from this Dragonite. 5,200. He's just in there. This Radiance is destroying everyone. The miss chance on top of that 2 versus a Drow Ranger strat. It's always a brutal aura to fight against.
So close, though. That Slark was just about to go down. Pasha playing that fight so well with his constant counter initiations. We'll look at the replay here.
And I love this egg, too. This is when the Phoenix first started coming as this huge hero. It doesn't really matter if the egg gets off. Of course, it's going to be worse if it does, but it's still a matter of just like, it wasted time. Yep. We get the Aegis. It's fully secured, and they simply can't get their way into the pit. And then all of these great plays, to Solo saving himself, and then the eventual jump in from Pasha to keep this Aegis alive.
This is the moment where it looks like Ramses might go down. It was a great silence, but Pasha is right there. He's got his carries back and just sets it up for No One to dunk it into the net.
He's just in there, you know? Look at that body, just flapping around, burning everybody down.
Scariest part here, Trent, is that VP still have the Aegis.
Crowd loves that blue hair. They're very into it.
Over 3 minutes until the Aegis will expire, so a pretty good window for VP here. 10,000 net worth lead.
Rogers, real deep here, trying to get some wards down. That's going to be spotted.
Yep, gets pinged immediately. Uh-oh, double damage. Picked up by Ramses. What will he find?
He's on the prowl, but there are some sentries down here.
Moonlight Shadow soon to expire. Yule's Scepter gonna set up for the arrow onto Solo. Looks like a quick pick on the Dazzle. No
that
shallow
power
grave.
shot gives away Soxa though.
And on the other side, Soxa gets dunked. It's a 1-for-1.
And the threat is definitely there from Virtus.pro. They want this Timber. He got the deny off last time. Berserker's Call still on cooldown. Find him now. Oh, nice jump.
More follow-up damage. There's the egg. Fata able to Timber chain away. But NiP only able to play defensive in this skirmish. Now no one jumps in the back line. It's PPD caught by the stun. The Sunray burning him down, and he will fall. Another one up on the scoreboard for no one.
And a stun too. He's pressing forward on the mind control.
Mind control. He's going to leap. Is it going to be enough, though? Those auto attacks chasing him down. He'll live on 60 HP.
Oh, 16 as it gets into the well. In the end, though, I mean, sure, it's a slight victory for you, but your tier 3 is losing HP drastically fast.
Ramses gets low, but he's able to back up. He'll regen up. They force the glyph. No one still with a lot of time on this Elder Dragon form. Pasha jumps in onto the Drow Ranger. Yule's the counter initiate. Silence on the Dragon Knight, still slowing things down. Ace almost burns to death. It's going to be close and he'll fall. The damage over time is too much as now Pasha in deep trying to make it out on the other side. Soxa goes down. Ramses is reinitiated. The Slark taking heavy damage. Remember, still with the Aegis, can afford to be aggressive here. They get the stun onto Fata. Fata in big trouble. The Timber Saw's down. NiP are crumbling. 4 in the grave, 3 without buyback. Timbersaw up in 10, but now this tier 3's down. They found Soxa behind the throne. VP making it sting as the ultra kill comes out for Pasha. Virtus.pro at 26 minutes could be moments away from securing this series.
Oh, they're tipping Peter. They're taking Barracks. A familiar
they want tier 4s,
sight.
baby.
Tier 2s in both lanes. They say go for the throne. They want to hear the crowd with the applause. They love winning here.
Ramses will throw away the Aegis.
That's a regen for a BKB.
Absolutely, buying some time for his team. Very slow sieging though. They actually don't kill these tier 4s very quickly without the Elder Dragon form, and VP will not be able to close out this game here. But a lot of damage done. NiP maybe hoping for a consolation kill.
Oh, a smoke back here.
It's a fake back. VP go right back in. They jump onto the Timbersaw. There's the Supernova. They've got no way to take it down.
Well, they can't get it.
It goes off and the Mirana dies. That's a dead Mirana. No buyback as Ace relegated past the tier 4s. Low on HP, out of options, and brought down. 4 of NiP stuck in the grave. Fata, the lone survivor, unable to do much. The BKBs get popped and he'll be killed as well.
Well, I think this time they might be able to finish it, but the buybacks are going to try and dissuade them from Fata.
GG.
But no, that is it.
Virtus.pro absolutely unrelenting. What an unbelievable way to close out that game. Diving past the tier 4s, diving past the throne, and then the incredible fake back for that final demoralizing blow, reading NiP like a book.
It felt a lot like game 1, honestly, but instead of playing around Ramses in this one focal, very much a team effort there. So many great options there. The saves from Solo and the Dazzle. Ramses always finding that initiation in the back line. Pasha, every call felt like it was perfect. Always getting someone who's trying to finish the egg or someone trying to kill Ramses. I mean, he had as many shallow graves as Solo did.
Yep. 10, 1, and 8 on the Axe. 9, 1, and 15 on the Dragon Knight. Really an impeccable performance. Even using Slark, one of the heroes that we thought might not get much spotlight this tournament, and making him look good.
Yeah, I thought the build was absolutely flawless there. That came from no one, too. Perfect option to go for in that one. He ends up doing 25.7 thousand hero damage there because of going for that Radiance. And again, it's just such a good choice versus the Drow strat.
Yeah.
Very good plays.
Absolutely. Well, an incredible game, too. The excitement here in the arena is palpable. Let's send it back to our panel to hear their thoughts.
Well done, Virtus.pro. A 2-0 win in this semi-final of the upper bracket. They will go through to meet Team Secret in the upper bracket final. The more things change, the more things stay the same in 2018. These two teams have seen plenty of success throughout the majors, and they're going to see some more over this weekend. Let's wrap up on our second series of the day, the second upper bracket semi-final. Gents, that was a very good performance from Virtus.pro this time round.
VP 2-0, I mean, showing why they consistently have PPD's number. I think draft-wise, they put themselves in a good position both games. Not like a huge outdraft, but
Sure.
when it comes to play and just VP as a team, they're just so freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2-16 in the last 12 months for Peter whenever he's gone up against Virtus.pro as a captain. There's something to that, isn't there? Normally I wouldn't bring those up because they're kind of like different lineups or whatever, but when it's like that, you're kind of like, crap, I've got a bogey team now. I've got to somehow figure out how to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me I was going to get to see 2 Slark games today, I wouldn't have believed you for sure. That one looked way better than the first one. Just they had no way to deal with him past the laning stage, so even though he got off to a slow start, they had a level 10 axe at 8 minutes into the game. Like, he's going to make the space and like be active where Slark can't afford to be. And this Dazzle hero is so good with their lineup. It goes well with the axe, it goes well against the Drow, it goes well with the Phoenix so he can get his egg off. Slark's another hero that loves the Grave because he can disengage and come back with full health. I don't know. I just think VP had an idea of how to deal with Drow, and I guess that's a Radiant's DK.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Pasha did it best. He didn't just usually see him cut the creep wave and pull it down to like the small camp, but he was cutting it past the tier 2, taking it to the big camp. So he was getting more gold, more experience. They didn't really have a hero who could deal with that. Like, Dirge just running at an axe actually really doesn't deal with them.
And he ganked Drow at like 5 minutes into the game with level 6.
Yeah, Pasha played amazingly, and especially because every axe gets farm, right? This tournament, every axe has gotten farm. It's what you do with the farm afterwards. And Pasha, he didn't miss calls. He made the proper rotations. He played perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you just have a Drow lineup that the only real hero that's enabled by the Drow is the Mirana and the Wind Ranger, both of which, in my opinion, are hard countered by DK, Slark, and Axe. Like, all these heroes just get up on top of you, and you're like forced to attack them on a Blade Mail. Like, it just doesn't feel good. You have to go Yules on a Drow, like on a Mirana with Drow Aura. Like, that doesn't feel good.
I mean, they've tried it twice. Hasn't worked on either occasion with slight modifications. I mean, it feels in some way like earlier on we saw the Arc Warden twice trying to be countered, and that didn't work either. We come back to the simplistic ban it or don't play it if you've lost with it.
Yeah, it's, I think from our perspective, one of those things where we're just, we hope and kind of assume the teams can play and run any strat. And if Arc Warden's like the top meta pick and Drow's being nerfed and shouldn't be played, you should go with Arc Warden. The thing is, these teams can only scrim and practice so many heroes. You have core players. They have a limit on how much they can, scrim and practice, play pubs with XYZ hero. They maybe don't feel confident on the Arc Warden. They've won so many games that qualifies with Drow Ranger. They're going to stick to their strongest strat. It just so happens Drow Ranger strat's maybe something you have to start moving away from.
Certainly against Virtus.pro anyway. I mean, these guys used to run that kind of stuff, and if they're not running it, you kind of feel like, well, maybe it's a very team-specific pick, and it is, because NiP did very well with it in the qualifiers, but this is a major upper bracket semi-final against Virtus.pro.
Yeah, they've also had like 5 months to figure Drow out. Like, she was all over TI, all the tournaments leading up to TI, so I just feel like Virtus.pro's lineup just makes so much sense against Drow. And they also, like, when they pick Wind Ranger into Axe, I'm kind of like looking at it like that hero's countered by Axe, and you're picking like maybe your comfort zone heroes, but against VP, I don't think comfort zone is going to cut it.
No, quite. No one. 9-1 and 15 on the scoreboard. Pasha, 10-1 and 8 on the axe. An impressive display.
The no one damage, 25.8k. Next close was 17.8. That was, I mean, Radiant's obviously burning everything, but still.
It's the Dagon.
Yeah. He got it, just get in there, Well, here's a 400 burst, easy.
I will give it up to Fader as well. 7-5 and 2, 24.2k damage on the Timbersaw.
The problem is, eventually, if you don't own as a Timbersaw early, you're just going to get run around, especially against a Slark. He's just going to pound on you. He doesn't care he's not killing you. The longer it takes to kill you, the more stats he gets.
You have to have heroes, threatening people trying to kill Timber. And,
they didn't
have
because it felt like Egg just got put down, and all of a sudden, this Timber's like, uh-oh, and then he has to get out. Everyone has to get out, and it was a good Phoenix game, that's for sure. Even though he lost the Egg almost every time, like we said he would, it didn't matter because it forced them to attack that.
That was a good Pasha series as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's our MVP for this particular series.
Deserves it.
You already pointed out, Grant, what a great second game he's had as well as the first game. So he is our MVP for the entire series, which is 9 Pasha. It's nice to see him on there. It's normally we almost praise Roger regularly. We praise Solo for his drafts in the past. We've said how great Ramses is. It feels like we never really talk about Pasha too much.
Yeah. I mean, he was level 8 when the Timbersaw was level 6. That's the matchup I think NiP chose and wanted in the laning stage, and he just crushed it. I mean, he's ignoring the Timbersaw, but that just shows why Axe is such a top pick and why Timbersaw is this niche 9th, 10th pick of the draft.
I just think VP, every time I've ever watched them, I feel like their players adjust the best from like what a hero's usually supposed to do. Like Axe is a hero that just farms Vanguard, farms his Blink, but he knows he has this Slark hero who's having a rough start. So he just ran mid, he ran bottom, he's taking part in fights before he has his Blink Dagger, and I just love that about VP. They sacrifice their own games to enable other heroes based on like the game itself, the specific game.
I know it's hero related, but Nisha a little bit quiet in this particular series, more so than we've seen him throughout the whole tournament.
Ace?
Sorry, Ace. Yeah, a bit quiet compared to the rest of the tournament, because he's had some really big standout games.
That's the problem with Drow,
Drow
right?
thing,
You either just snowball and completely look like you're going to own, or you're just a non-factor.
Yeah,
and he
I mean,
played it both
that's
games.
the hero point
exactly.
of view. So
he probably would have, if they 2-0'd, he probably would have been the MVP. But because they got 0-2'd, it's easy to just be like, wow. I mean, it's a Drow. He just fell behind, can't catch up on that hero at all.
Yeah.
And they play again next, right? NiP does?
what's that? Sorry.
Does NiP play again next?
Yeah, I believe so. NiP versus TNC. Yeah.
Is it? Yes.
I believe
Okay.
so.
So
They
they-
do play twice in a row. Yeah.
I wonder what their idea coming into the day is with that, because I have to believe they said we're going to pick Drow against VP. If
Save it for the next segment.
Oh,
Save it for the next one. Sorry. You've
That's
still got
free
loads
content.
to talk
Free content.
In the meantime, we should bring in a man who's patiently waiting in the player area to talk to us, which is Mr. No One. How are you doing?
I'm fine, hi.
Good. 2-0, another straightforward victory. I keep coming back to you, and it's always 2-0, and you guys have played really well. But was it difficult in any way for you that time?
This time actually no, I don't know why, but I mean like NiP says plays good, but it was easy for us.
Yeah.
That's
But
all.
did they pick what you thought they were going to pick with the Drow?
Maybe.
I think you're getting trolled by your teammates here as well.
Yeah, Are you sick of your teammates not doing any of these interviews? It feels like they always throw you in these.
I mean like if you expect someone else to stay here, you shouldn't. They're just staying here and just joking about. I don't know.
We love talking to you, so thank you.
so was the Dagon for the magic damage synergy with the Radiance?
Yeah. I mean the game was ends, so it doesn't matter what I buy.
Yeah, no, I'm just the Radiance side. How do you have how do you know when to purchase those kind of items? Like, is that something you knew going into the game, or is that just like looks like a good Radiance game?
Yeah, at the start of the game, you're just thinking what do you need to in the game, and like there is a dagger on decay was pretty awful, and other items like armlet is not good right now. It is meta, so just Radiance is good for farm and just fights.
Yeah, I don't really have a question. You guys just straight up own the game. Not much to say. You guys outdrafted it, felt like outplayed them. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we'll let you go. I know that you've got to get some more rest and come back again and play once more here at the Major, but congrats on reaching the upper bracket final, guaranteed top 3, and going for a record 5th Major Championship title to overtake OG. Is that something you guys have talked about?
Maybe. I mean, like we didn't, but like everyone just want to win, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right. I know you guys go into every Major wanting to win every Major, so good luck, and thank you very much. Congrats on the win.
Thanks.
There we go then, No One winning with his teammates. Virtus.pro safely through to the upper bracket, and they are upper bracket final and guaranteed a top 3 position. They just do so well at majors. It doesn't matter what happens at TI almost. It's like an isolated bubble. If you take that out of the year and you look at the rest of the year, they've been the best team of the year.
Yeah, it has to feel bad for them, though, because you know every team going in, like if you said, would you rather win 5 majors or a TI? Everyone's going to take the TI, but but they stick around, and I don't know. I love that Pasha trolling around there. You can tell he's like, I'm the MVP. I'll do the interview, but I won't, so I'll just, have some fun. It's good to see that.
Yeah, it's very good fun indeed. Final thoughts on NiP? Drop down, obviously not out of the tournament, but it's a tough ask to come back from there and win the tournament now, isn't it?
They were definitely the surprise. I mean, just with their positioning in the winner bracket with the stand-in, I think even without a stand-in, being in the winner bracket semifinals would have surprised some people.
Yep.
But TNC's, they're a very volatile team, so that's still a very 50-50 matchup. We could see a lot more of NiP if they bounce back from this loss.
Yeah, definitely both of those. Looking forward to that one as well. It should be fun.
Yeah, they proved they could beat or that they could beat their Drow Ranger, and their Drow Ranger has carried you only so far. So I'd like to see them mix it up, especially against a team that spams Arc Ward.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good against that.
Yeah, we'll see how they get on.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they might just pick Drow again. If it gets left versus TNC, I think they'll pick it to see. I mean, it's a new team. It's probably. I mean, they probably think VP is one of the best. TNC maybe a little lower, so they might just. You might be seeing another Drow Wind Ranger opening.
Maybe the Drow goes head-to-head with the Arc Warden.
Maybe.
Who knows? Thank you very much, gents, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. That is it from the upper bracket semi-finals, but we do have one more series to come as we dip into the lower bracket of the Kuala Lumpur Major. We'll be back very shortly.